become less intense or widespread, abate, kam hona. Ghatna, a place where animals are slaughtered for consumption as food, abattoir, ka sa pe a ki matra badi e kha pe a ki matra na pe a ki matra, the head of a monastery. Abat, mat ka pramukh, a shortened form of a word or phrase, abbreviation, sankshipt. Roop, to give up one's authority or throne, abdicate, apna pad, ya dawa, chhod den, the act of giving up the throne or authority, abdication, apne adhikar athva pad ka tyag, deviation from the right course. Aberration, asamanyata. Bhatkav, a state of temporary suspension or inactivity, abeyance, ruki hui sthiti, asthai, the act of washing oneself. Especially as a religious rite, ablution, dharmik karya ke liye shuddhi snan, to renounce or give up a right or belief, abnegate, tyag karna, to formally put an end to a system, practice or institution, abolish, samapt karna, relating to the original inhabitants of a place, aboriginal, mool nivasiyon se sambandhit, the original inhabitant or native of a country, aborigine, mool nivasi, to shorten a piece of writing without losing the sense, abridge, sankshipt karna, a shortened version of a larger work, abridgment, sankshipt sanskaran, to cancel or do away with a law or agreement. Abrogate, nirastya rad kar dena, to go away suddenly and secretly in order to escape from somewhere, abscond, farar hona, the formal forgiveness of a person's sins, absolution, papmukti. Kshamadhan, wildly unreasonable, illogical or ridiculous, absurd, betuka, a deep and seemingly bottomless pit or hole, abyss, bahut gehri khai, to increase the speed, accelerate, gati badana, na, unexpected event that causes injury or death, accident, durghatna, an award, honor, or laudatory notice granted as special recognition, accolade, puraskar, samman, a person who helps another commit a crime. A partner in crime, accomplice, seh apradhi, the successful completion of a task or goal, accomplishment, uplabdhi. Kaam ka pura hona, to be harmonious or consistent with, accord, sehmat hona, a person whose profession is to keep and inspect financial records, accountant, munim. Lekhapal, sharp and bitter in speech or temperament, acerbic, karwa, swabhav ya bhasha mein, the scientific study of sound, acoustics, dhvani vigyan, to decide and state officially in court that somebody is not guilty of a crime, acquit, bari, doshmukt, kar dena, a judgment that a person is not guilty of the crime they were charged with, acquittal, doshmukt kiya jana, a person who performs difficult gymnastic feats for entertainment, acrobat, kala pe a ki matra ba pe a ki matra zar, a word formed from the initial letters of other words and pronounced as a word, acronym, शब्दों के पहले अक्षरों से बना शब्द, न, extreme fear of heights, acrophobia, ऊंचाई का डर, giving cause for legal proceedings, actionable, कानूनी कार्यवाही करने योग्य, the ability to make good judgments and take quick decisions, acumen, कुशाग्र बुद्धि, person who is unable to stop using a harmful substance, adakt, nasheri, to speak formally. To deliver a speech, details of a person's location or contact place, address, sambodhit karna, bhashan dena, pata, to believe in and follow a rule, belief or plan, adhere, palan karna, the period between the beginning of puberty and adulthood, adolescence, kishoravastha, an extremely handsome young man, adonis, khubsurat naujawan, extremely attractive and lovable, adorable, behad pyara, to make impure by adding inferior substances, adulterate, milawat karna, willing to take risks and try new ideas, adventurous, sahasik, a person who publicly supports or speaks in favor of a cause, a lawyer, advocate, samarthak, vakil, existing or living in the air, aerial, Hawai na irrational and intense fear of flying. Aerophobia, Hawai yatra se dar, a person who has a strong appreciation for beauty and art. Aesthete. Saundarya premi, vyakti, concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. Aesthetic, Saundarya Sambandhi, the study of beauty and art. Aesthetics, Saundarya Shastra, a written statement confirmed by oath. For use as evidence in court, affidavit, Shapath Patra, a list of items to be discussed at a meeting. Agenda, Karyasuchi, to increase the importance, position or wealth, aggrandize, vriddhi karna, shakti. Sampatti ya pad, hostile and ready to attack or quarrel, aggressive, akramak, one who is not sure about God's existence. Agnostic, ईश्वर के बारे में संशयवादी व्यक्ति, extreme mental or physical. Suffering, agony, अत्यधिक पीड़ा न, extreme fear of open or public places. Agoraphobia, खुले या भीड़भाड़ वाले सार्वजनिक स्थानों का भय. A blank book, for keeping a collection of photographs. Stamps or pictures. Album, चित्र संग्रह की किताब, a medieval practice aimed at transforming base metals into gold. Alchemy, धातु परिवर्तन कला. पारस विद्या, a substance for killing algae. Algicide, श पे ए की मात्रा व पे आ की मात्रा ल न पे आ की मात्रा श क न, extreme fear of pain. Algophobia, दर्द का भय, a person from a foreign country. A fictional being from another world, alien, videshi. Pargrahi, the money paid regularly to a former spouse after divorce. Alimony, भूतपूर्व साथी को दिया जाने वाला गुजारा भत्ता, a story with a hidden moral or symbolic meaning. Allegory, छिपे नैतिक अर्थ. वाली कथा, the repetition of the same initial sound in nearby words. Alliteration, Anupras alankar, a combination of two or more metals mixed together. Alloy, Mishradhatu, the soil deposited by flowing water. Alluvium, Jalor mitti, the school or college in which one has been educated. Alma mater, संस्थान जहाँ से शिक्षा प्राप्त की ना. Annual calendar containing astronomical data and important dates. Almanac, Panchang, the sport of climbing high mountains. Alpinism, Parvatarohan, a table or flat surface where offerings are made to a deity. Altar, Puja sthal ki vedi na, instrument that measures altitude. Altimeter, ऊंचाई नापने का यंत्र, the height of an object or point above sea level. Altitude, ऊंचाई, a person who selflessly works for the welfare of others. Altruist, परोपकारी, former students of a school, college or university. Alumni, भूतपूर्व छात्र, one who engages in an activity for pleasure rather than as a profession. Amateur, शौकिया व्यक्ति, an extreme fear of riding in vehicles. Hamaxophobia, वाहनों का डर, a diplomatic representative of one's country in another country. Ambassador, राजदूत, able to use both the left and right hands equally well. Ambidextrous, उभयहस्त, दोनों हाथों से समान. रूप से काम करने वाला, the character and atmosphere of a place. Ambience, वातावरण. Mahal, a word or design that retains meaning when rotated or reflected. Ambigram, घुमाने या पलटने पर भी अर्थपूर्ण दिखने वाला शब्द. चित्र, open to more than one interpretation. Ambiguous, अस्पष्ट. अनेकार्थी, having mixed or conflicting feelings about something. Ambivalent, दुविधाग्रस्त, विरोधी भावनाओं वाला. A person who has both introverted and extroverted qualities. Ambivert, अंतर्मुखी और बहिर्मुखी, दोनों गुणों वाला व्यक्ति. To walk slowly and in a relaxed way. Amble, धीरे धीरे टहलना. To make something bad or unsatisfactory better. Ameliorate, बेहतर बनाना. Readily willing to be guided or controlled. Amenable, बात या सलाह मानने को तैयार. A facility or feature that provides comfort or convenience. Amenity, सुख सुविधा, characterized by friendliness and absence of discord. Amicable, मैत्रीपूर्ण, सौहार्दपूर्ण in a friendly and peaceable manner, amicably, मैत्रीपूर्ण तरीके से न instrument for measuring electric current, ammeter, विद्युत धारा मापने का यंत्र, a partial or total loss of memory. Amnesia, भूलने की बीमारी nor official pardon granted to a group of people. Especially for political offences, amnesty, सरकारी क्षमा not following any moral rules and not caring about right or wrong. Immoral, नैतिकता से परे न animal that can live both on land and in water. Amphibian, उभयचर जंतु, जल और स्थल दोनों में रहने वाला जीव. A person who has had one or more limbs removed. Amputee, जिसका हाथ या पैर काटा जा चुका हो. A medical specialist who administers drugs for relieving pain during surgery. Anesthetist, बेहोशी की दवा देने वाला चिकित्सक. A word or phrase formed by rearranging the letters of another word. Anagram, अक्षरों को पुनर्व्यवस्थित कर बना नया शब्द है. Narration of past events inserted into the current storyline. Analepsis, कहानी में अतीत की घटना दिखाना. A substance that relieves pain. Analgesic, दर्दनाशक दवा. A comparison showing similarity between two different things. Analogy, समानता के आधार पर तुलना. A detailed examination of something complex. Analysis, गहन जांच पड़ताल. A person who believes that laws and governments are not necessary. Anarchist, अराजकतावादी. A state of disorder due to absence of government or authority. Anarchy, अव्यवस्था. अराजकता, the science of the bodily structure of living organisms. Anatomy, शरीर रचना विज्ञान. A person who presents a radio or television program. Anchor, कार्यक्रम संचालक belonging to the very distant past. Ancient, प्राचीन न excessive or obsessive attraction towards men. Andromania, पुरुषों के प्रति अत्यधिक या असामान्य आकर्षण. Short, interesting or amusing story about a real person or event. Anecdote, वास्तविक घटना पर आधारित छोटी कहानी. The inability to feel pleasure in normally pleasurable activities. Anhedonia, आनंद महसूस न कर पाने की स्थिति. Resembling a weak old woman. अनिले, बुढ़िया के समान. A strong dislike or hostility. Animosity, शत्रुता. To destroy completely. Annihilate, पुनर्तः नष्ट करना. The date on which an event happened in some previous year. Anniversary, सालगिरह. A note added to a text or diagram to explain or provide additional information. Annotation, टिप्पणी. व्याख्या, a fixed sum paid annually. Annuity, वार्षिक भत्ता. A deviation from what is normal or expected. Anomaly, अनियमितता. असामान्यता, having an unknown or withheld name or identity. Anonymous, बेनाम. गुमनाम, न eating disorder marked by an obsessive desire to lose weight by refusing to eat. Anorexia, वजन बढ़ने के भय से खाना अत्यधिक कम करना. The main opponent or villain in a story. Antagonist, विरोधी पात्र. Extremely old-fashioned. Antediluvian, अत्यंत प्राचीन. A collection of literary works by different authors published together. Anthology, साहित्यिक संग्रह. One who studies the evolution and development of human societies and cultures. Anthropologist, मानव विज्ञान का अध्ययन करने वाला. The study of human societies, cultures, and their development. Anthropology, मानव विज्ञान. The practice of attributing human qualities to animals or objects. Anthropomorphism, मानवीकरण, चीज़ों या जानवरों को इंसानों जैसा बताना. To expect or look forward to. Anticipate, पूर्वानुमान करना. आशा रखना. A medicine to counteract the effect of poison. Antidote, विषनाशक. A strong feeling of dislike or aversion. Antipathy, गहरी नापसंदगी. A person who studies or collects antiques. Antiquarian, पुरावस्तुओं का संग्राहक या विशेषज्ञ. The exact opposite. Antithesis, विपरीत. A substance in blood that neutralizes toxins. antitoxin, व पे छोटी ई की मात्रा श न पे आ की मात्रा श कर a word opposite in meaning to another word, antonym. विलोम शब्द a policy of racial segregation and discrimination, apartheid, नस्लीय भेदभाव a set of rooms forming one residence in a building, apartment, किसी इमारत में कमरों का समूह, flat, showing o. Feeling no interest. Enthusiasm or concern, apathetic, उदासीन, भ पे आ की मात्रा व ह पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा न a lack of interest, enthusiasm or concern, apathy, उदासीनता loss of ability to understand or express speech. Due to brain damage, aphasia, भाषाहीनता, मस्तिष्क चोट के कारण समझने या बोलने में असमर्थ, a place where bees are kept, apiary, मधुमक्खियों के पालने का स्थान to express regret for something that one has done wrong, apologize, क्षमा मांगना the act of abandoning one's religious or political beliefs, apostasy, धर्म या विश्वास का त्याग a person who renounces religious or political beliefs. Apostate, धर्म या विश्वास को त्यागने वाला व्यक्ति a person who is sent to spread a religious message or doctrine, apostle, धार्मिक संदेश फैलाने के लिए भेजा गया व्यक्ति causing shock or dismay. Appalling, डरावना. भयावह to belong to or be connected with something, appertain, से संबंधित होना a person who formally requests something. Especially a job, applicant, आवेदक an estimation of a thing's worth, appraisal, मूल्यांकन to rise in value, appreciate, मूल्य वृद्धि होना a person who works for an expert to learn a trade. Apprentice, शिक्षार्थी न extreme fear of water, aquaphobia, पानी का डर a glass tank where fish and water plants are kept, aquarium, मछलीघर living or growing in or near water, aquatic. जलीय suitable for growing crops, arable, कृषि योग्य न extreme fear of spiders, arachnophobia, मकड़ियों का डर based on chance rather than on reason or a plan, arbitrary, मनमाना a person appointed by two parties to settle a dispute, arbitrator, punch. मध्यस्थ a person who studies human history through excavation of sites, archaeologist, पुरातत्व विज्ञानी, the study of human history and prehistory through the excavation of sites, archaeology. पुरातत्व शास्त्र very old and no longer in use, archaic, अप्रचलित a large body of water with many islands, archipelago, द्वीप समूह the place where public government or historical records are kept, archive, अभिलेखागार a feeling of intense passion or enthusiasm, ardor, जोश, उत्साह a place or scene of activity, debate, or conflict, arena, akhada. Rangbhumi a secret or disguised language used by a particular group, आगो, गुप्त भाषा या विशेष समुदाय की भाषा a government by the nobles or the highest social class, aristocracy, श्रेष्ठ जनों का. शासन a feeling of excessive self-importance or superiority, arrogance, ahankar a place where weapons and military equipment are stored, arsenal, shastragar the crime of deliberately setting fire to property, arson, आगजनी, अपराध, a person who deliberately sets fire to property, arsonist, आगजनी करने वाला able to express ideas clearly and fluently, articulate, स्पष्ट बोलने वाला the ability to speak clearly and express ideas effectively, articulation, स्पष्ट उच्चारण an object made by humans. Usually of historical or cultural significance, artifact, मानव निर्मित ऐतिहासिक वस्तु one who practices one of the fine arts, artist, कलाकार one who practices severe self-discipline and abstains from bodily pleasures, ascetic, tapasvi व्यक्ति to attribute a cause or characteristic to something, ascribe, श्रेय देना. उत्तरदायी ठ ह र पे आ की मात्रा न पे आ की मात्रा with suspicion, doubt, or disapproval, askance, तिरछी दृष्टि से, स पे अ की मात्रा द पे ए की मात्रा ह प पे बड़े ऊ की मात्रा आधा र व कर person who physically attacks another, assailant, आक्रमणकारी a person who kills somebody. Especially for political reasons, assassin, हत्यारा to agree to a request, an idea, or a suggestion, assent, स्वीकृति देन politely firm and confident, assertive, आत्मविश्वासी. दृढ़ greatly surprised or amazed, astonished, अचंभित. बहुत हैरान one who studies celestial positions to predict future events, astrologer, Jyotishi the study of celestial positions to predict future events, astrology, Jyotish Vidya a person trained to travel in a spacecraft, astronaut, Antariksh Yatri one who studies celestial bodies, astronomer, Khagolashastri the scientific study of celestial bodies, astronomy, Khagolashastra, a place of refuge or safety. An institution for the mentally ill, asylum, Sharanasthal. Mansik Chikitsalya one who does not believe in the existence of God, atheist, Nastik an action of making amends for a wrong or injury, atonement, Prayashchit a space or room just below the roof of a building, atak, atari, chhat ka kamra, that can be heard clearly, audible, Sunai dene yogya na official inspection of an organization's or individual's financial accounts, audit, lekha pariksha, hisab. Kitab ki janch, one who officially examines financial accounts or records, auditor, lekha parikshak, hisab kitab ki janch karne wala, a large hall used for public gatherings. Concerts or performances, auditorium, Sabhagar strict and plain in manner or lifestyle, austere, sakht, aada pe a ki matra barah pe badi e ki matra na something that is genuine, made in the traditional or original way, authentic, asli. Vishwasniya a person who writes books, author, lekhak a book written by a person about their own life, autobiography, Atmkatha a government by one person having absolute power, autocracy, तानाशाही, एक व्यक्ति का निरंकुश शासन, a ruler who has complete power, autocrat, तानाशाह the signature of a famous person. Often given to an admirer, autograph, हस्ताक्षर, विशेषकर प्रसिद्ध व्यक्ति का. The right of self-governance, autonomy, स्वशासन न examination of a dead body to determine the cause of death, autopsy. Shav parikshan a mass of snow. Ice and rocks falling rapidly down a mountainside, avalanche, himskhalan, pahar se tezi se girti barf. Using or showing new, experimental, or unconventional ideas. Ahead of its time, avant-garde, agragami, समय से आगे की सोच वाला, extreme greed for wealth or material gain, avarice, अत्यधिक लालच having an extreme desire for wealth, avaricious, अत्यधिक लालचिये. Place for keeping birds in a confined space, aviary, pakshishala. Pakshi ghar the operation and flying of aircraft, aviation, विमानों की उड़ान का विज्ञान the killing of birds, avaside, pakshi hatya keen interest or enthusiasm, avidity, utsukta a statement accepted as true without proof, axiom, स्वयं सिद्ध सत्य, सिद्धांत जिसे बिना प्रमाण के सत्य माना जाता है, an unmarried man, bachelor, अविवाहित पुरुष, a place where bread and cakes are made, bakery, जहां bread और केक बनाए जाते हैं having no hair on the scalp, bald, ganja senseless a foolish talk or writing, balderdash, निरर्थक बात a large bundle bound for storage or transport, bale, gantry. Ga आधा ठ पे आ की मात्रा a poem that tells a story and has a regular rhythm and rhyme scheme, ballad, ग पे आ की मात्रा थ पे आ की मात्रा ग पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा त to pass or exchange back and forth. Especially words or ideas, bandy, विचारों का आपस में आदान प्रदान करना one who is unable to pay his debts, bankrupt. Diwaliya, a playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks, banter, hasi mazake. Poet who composes and recites epic or lyrical poetry, bard, वीरता की कहानियाँ सुनाने वाला कवि, the outer protective layer of a tree. To make a sharp loud sound, bark, chal. Bhaukna na, instrument used for measuring atmospheric pressure, barometer. Vayu dab mapak, a place where soldiers are stationed, barracks, सैनिकों के लिए बने घर, a wooden drum in which beer or oil is stored, barrel, पीपा, लकड़ी का बेलनाकार पात्र. To revel in and make the most of something pleasing, bask, आनंद लेना, a group of guns or missile launchers operated together at one place, battery. तोपों का समूह, a short sword fixed onto the end of a gun, bayonet, बंदूक की नोक पर लगा चाकू, something of monstrous size or power, behemoth, विशालकाय वस्तु या प्राणी, one who is fond of fighting. Bellicose, लड़ाकू, a deep roaring sound. As made by a bull or crocodile, bellow, dahar, one who helps others by giving money or other aid, benefactor, धन आदि से सहायता करने वाला, a person who gains as a result of something, beneficiary. लाभार्थी, deprived of or lacking something, bereft, vanchit, a person who is engaged to be married, betrothed, mangetar, a drink. Especially one other than water, beverage, pay padarth, a large group of people or things. Especially girls or birds, bevy, jhund, a list of the books referred to in a scholarly work, bibliography, sandarbh granth सूची, संदर्भित पुस्तकों की सूची, an obsessive desire to acquire and possess books. Bibliomania, किताबों के लिए पागलपन, a person who loves or collects books. Bibliophile, पुस्तक प्रेमी, a 200th anniversary of an event, bicentennial, 200वीं वर्षगांठ, happening every 2 years. Biennial, द्विवार्षिक, a person intolerant of different opinions. Especially in religion or politics. Bigot, कट्टर व्यक्ति, able to speak 2 languages. Bilingual, द्विभाषिक, happening every 2 months or twice a month. Bimonthly, हर 2 महीने में या 1 महीने में. 2 बार होने वाला, capable of being decomposed by natural biological processes. Biodegradable, प्राकृतिक तरीके से, सवर्ण श पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा, ल, the story of a person's life written by someone else. Biography, जीवनी थे. Study of living organisms, biology, जीव विज्ञान, the removal and examination of tissue from a living body to diagnose disease. Biopsy, जीवित ऊतकों की जांच, very strange or unusual. Bizarre, विचित्र, a region of space with gravity so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Black hole, अत्यधिक गुरुत्व वाला अंतरिक्षीय क्षेत्र, जहां से प्रकाश भी नहीं निकल सकता. The act of speaking disrespectfully about sacred or religious things. Blasphemy, ईश्वर की निंदा थे. Sound made by a sheep or goat. Bleat, म पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, म पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, य पे आ की मात्रा, न पे आ की मात्रा, a person who cannot see, blind, अंधा. नेत्रहीन, a spot or stain caused by a discoloring substance. Blot, दाग. धब्बा, a group of people managing or directing a company. Board, निदेशक मंडल, a person of South African Dutch descent. Bow, दक्षिण अफ्रीकी डच मूल का व्यक्ति, one who does not follow the usual rules of social life. Bohemian, परंपराविरोधी जीवन शैली वाला, to attack with a continuous flow of questions or criticism. Bombard, बौछार करना, using impressive sounding words but with little meaning. Bombastic, बड़े बड़े शब्दों वाला, a large open air fire. Often for celebration. Bonfire, alav, agni utsav. Dwarf, varieties of trees and shrubs grown in pots. Bonsai, गमले में उगाई गई छोटी झाड़ी की किस्म, sum of money added to a person's wages as a reward for good performance. Bonus, पारितोषिक, अतिरिक्त इनाम. one who reads a lot. An avid reader, bookworm, kitabi kira, pustak premi, a curved throwing weapon that returns to the thrower, boomerang, फेंकने पर वापस लौटने वाला हथियार, one who is well versed in the knowledge of plants, botanist, vanaspati vigyani, the scientific study of plants in their structure, botany, vanaspati vigyan, a narrow point of congestion that restricts flow or progress, bottleneck, रास्ते का संकीर्ण भाग, a broad road bordered with trees, boulevard, पेड़ों की कतार वाला मुख्य मार्ग, न arrangement of flowers that is usually given as a present, bouquet, गुलदस्ता, a person belonging to थे. Middle class, bourgeois, मध्यम वर्ग का व्यक्ति, a small shop that sells fashionable clothes, boutique, व्यस्तफले affecting or relating to cows or cattle, bovine, गाय से संबंधित, a shady place under trees, bower, पेड़ों के नीचे का छायादार स्थान, to fail to observe or comply with a law or agreement, breach, नियम तोड़ना, a place where beer is made, brewery, बियर बनाने का कारखाना, a set of leather straps placed around a horse's head to control it, bridle, लगाम, a member of a gang of robbers, brigand, डाकू, hard but easily broken, brittle, भंगुर, आसानी से टूटने योग्य, a family of young animals or birds produced at one time, brood, एक साथ जन्मे बच्चे, a late morning meal combining breakfast and lunch, brunch, नाश्ता जोड़ दोपहर का भोजन, a woman with dark brown hair, brunette, गहरे भूरे बाल वाली स्त्री, न estimate of income and expenditure for a set period, budget, budget, आय व्यय का अनुमान, a period of rising prices in financial trading, bull market, शेयर बाजार में तेजी, gold or silver in bulk form. Before being made into coins or ornaments, bullion, सोने चांदी की ईंट, a collection of things tied or wrapped together, bundle, गट्ठर, a large detached house with a single or double story, bungalow, bangla, कोठी, to carry out a task clumsily or incompetently, bungle, गड़बड़ करना, a floating marker anchored to the sea bottom to guide or warn ships, buoy, तैरता संकेतक, जहाज़ों को दिशा देने के लिए, hey. Government run by officials in a state, bureaucracy, नौकरशाहों का शासन, a person who breaks into buildings illegally to steal, burglar, सा पे ए की मात्रा पे अ की मात्रा, धम पे आ की मात्रा, र, a hole or tunnel dug by an animal as a dwelling. Burrow, built to make a low continuous humming sound like a bee, buzz, भ पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, न भ पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, न पे आ की मात्रा, न पे आ की मात्रा, a place where cows are sheltered by a गौशाला, a hidden store of things, cache, गुप्त भंडार, one who is bad at spelling, cacographer, गलत वर्तनी लिखने वाला व्यक्ति, न extreme fear of ugliness or ugly things, cacophobia, कुरूपता का भय, हाश, discordant mixture of sounds, cacophony, कोलाहल, कर्कश ध्वनि, resembling a corpse, cadaverous, शव की तरह, a rhythmic flow of sounds or words, cadence, let the young, rhythmic flow of sounds or words, cadence, let the young one of a cow, calf, बछड़ा, a person skilled in beautiful handwriting, calligrapher, स पे छोटे ऊ की मात्रा, ल पे ए की मात्रा, ख का, the art of beautiful handwriting, calligraphy, सुलेख, one who is devoid of kind feeling and sympathy, callous, कठोर दिल वाला, संवेदनहीन, the act of disguising to blend with the surroundings, camouflage, छलावरण, छिपने की तकनीक, a person who eats human flesh, cannibal, न र भ आधा क श का, love for dogs, canophilia, कुत्तों के प्रति, frame, the legal killing of someone as punishment for a crime, capital punishment, मृत्युदंड, फांसी की सजा, a person who has money especially invested in business, capitalist, पूंजीवादी, a unit of weight used for measuring precious stones, carat, रत्नों का भार मापने की इकाई, a group of travelers journeying together across a desert. A shelter of a gypsy caravan, क पे आ की मात्रा, फ पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, ल पे आ की मात्रा, the dead body of an animal, carcass, पशु शव, something which is considered to be very important, cardinal, मुख्य. Pradhan, a doctor specializing in the study or treatment of heart diseases, cardiologist. Hriday Rog Visheshagya, the study of the heart and its diseases, cardiology. Hriday Vigyan, a picture drawn with exaggerated features for comic effect, caricature. Vyangya Chitra, the ruthless killing of a large number of people, carnage. Narsanhar, a person who eats meat but not seafood or fish, carnitarian, जो मांस खाता है पर मछली या समुद्री भोजन नहीं, feeding on the flesh of other animals, carnivorous, मांसाहारी, a religious or joyful song. Especially one sung at Christmas, carol, Christmas geet, a person who draws or makes maps, cartographer. म पे आ की मात्रा, न च पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, आधा त र, क पे आ की मात्रा, र, the art or process of drawing or making maps, cartography. म पे आ की मात्रा, न च पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, आधा त र, क पे आ की मात्रा, र पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा, a humorous drawing with exaggerated features, cartoon. आधा व य पे अ की मात्रा, आधा ग य च पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, आधा त र, a fall of water from a great height, cascade, झरना. A place where gambling games are played, casino. ज पे छोटे ऊ की मात्रा, आ ख पे आ की मात्रा, न पे आ की मात्रा, a long garment worn by clergy. Cassock, ईसाई पादरियों का लंबा वस्त्र, a sudden and violent event causing great destruction, cataclysm. Pralaya, a systematic list of items or publications, catalogue. Suchi, a substance that speeds up a chemical reaction without being consumed, catalyst. Utprerak, an event causing great and sudden damage or suffering, catastrophe. Bhari tabahi, causing great damage or suffering, catastrophic. Vinashkari, a private meeting of members of a political party to decide policy or select candidates, caucus. Rajnitik dal ki aantarik baithak, a large deep metal pot used for cooking over open fire, cauldron, handa. Kadahi, a group of soldiers who fight on horseback, cavalry. Ghursavar Sindh, the sound made by a crow, caw. Kauve ki kaav kaav, a time when enemies agree to stop fighting, ceasefire, yuddha viram the. State of being unmarried by choice, celibacy. Brahmacharya, an underground place for storing wine or other provisions, cellar. Tehkhana, a large burial ground, cemetery. Kabristan, a monument erected in honor of a person whose body is buried elsewhere, cenotaph. Samadhi Smarak, jahan shav na ho, an expression of strong disapproval or criticism, censure. Fatkar, a person who is 100 years old or more, centenarian. 100 varsh ka vyakti, the 100th anniversary of an event, centennial. Shatabdi, tending to move away from the center, centrifugal. Upkendriya, kendra se dur bhagne ki pravritti, relating to the brain or the intellect, cerebral. Dimagi, the art of designing or writing on wax, serography. Mom par nakkashi ki kala, to rub a part of the body to restore warmth or sensation. Chafe, ragadkar gar ma pe a ki matra, na pe a ki matra, the husks of corn or other grains separated by winnowing or threshing. Chaff, gussa, a feeling of annoyance or embarrassment caused by failure or disappointment, chagrin. Sharmindagi wa nirasha ki bhavna, a child believed to have been secretly left in exchange for another, changeling. Badla hua bachcha, a state of utter confusion, chaos. Purn avyavastha, a small place of Christian worship, especially within a larger institution, chapel. ईसाइयों का छोटा उपासना स्थल, compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire or influence others, charisma, आकर्षण. exercising a compelling charm which inspires devotion in others. Charismatic, akarshak, a person falsely claiming to have a special knowledge or skill. Charlatan, dhongi, to run after in order to catch or catch up with. Chase, pीछा करना, a deep fissure in the earth's surface. Chasm, gehri khai, the base frame of a car or other wheeled vehicle. Chassis, वाहन का ढांचा, to criticize someone severely. Chastise, फटा का पे आ की मात्रा, रना पे आ की मात्रा, a person employed to drive a private or hired car. Chauffeur, motor chalak, the use of strong contrasts between light and shadow in art. Chiaroscuro, prakash chaya ka tivra virodhabhas, the use of trickery to achieve a political or financial goal. Chicanery, धोखाधड़ी, the art of predicting the future by examining the lines on a person's palm. Chiromancy, hastrekha vidya, a group of singers in a church, choir. Gayak mandali, a routine task, especially a household one. Chore, dainik kaam, one who plans the steps and moves for a dance. Choreographer, nritya nirdeshak, a disease persisting for a long time or recurring repeatedly. Chronic. Dirghkalik, a factual written account of events in the order of their occurrence. Chronicle, कालक्रम से अब ह पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, ल पे ए की मात्रा, ख न, arranged in the order of time. Chronological, तिथिक्रम के अनुसार, न, arrangement of events or dates in the order of their occurrence. Chronology, कालक्रम, न, instrument for measuring time with extreme accuracy. Chronometer, अत्यधिक सटीक घड़ी, to laugh quietly without opening once. Mouth, chuckle, मुंह बंद करके हंसना, rude in a mean-spirited and surly way. Churlish, अभद्र, extreme self-confidence or audacity. Chutzpah, ढिठाई, the art of motion picture photography. Cinematography, film बनाने का कार्य, a secret or disguised way of writing. Cipher, गुप्त लिपि, the use of many words where only a few are necessary. Circumlocution, शब्द बाहुल्य, बहुत सारे शब्दों का प्रयोग, based on circumstances or indirect evidence rather than direct proof. Circumstantial, परिस्थितियों से संबंधित, a fortress. Typically one on high ground above a city, citadel, किला. Gar, to climb or move with difficulty using hands and feet. Clamber, हाथ पैर के बल कठिनाई से चढ़ना, making a loud and confused noise. Clamorous, क पे ओ की मात्रा, ल पे आ की मात्रा, ह ल प पे बड़े ऊ की मात्रा, आधा र अन्न, a loud appeal or demand. Clamor, कोलाहल. Shorner, extreme fear of confined or enclosed spaces. Claustrophobia, बंद या छोटी जगह का भय, all the customers of a business. Clientele, ग्राहक वर्ग, a story or situation ending at a suspenseful moment. Leaving the outcome unresolved. Cliffhanger, रोमांचक स्थिति जहां अंत अधूरा छोड़ा जाए, a small exclusive group of people with a common purpose. Clique, समान विचार वाले लोगों का छोटा समूह, room in a public building where outdoor clothes or luggage may be left. Cloakroom, सामान कक्ष, the sound made by a hen. Cluck, मुर्गी की आवाज, awkward in movement or manner. Clumsy, ब पे ए की मात्रा, ध पे अ की मात्रा, ग पे आ की मात्रा, the land beside a. Near the sea, coast, समुद्र तट, a mender or maker of shoes. Cobbler, mochi, a fine network of threads spun by a spider to catch its prey. Cobweb, मकड़ी का जाला, a small compartment in an aircraft for the pilot. Cockpit, वायुयान में चालक कक्ष, a drink made from a mixture of one or more alcoholic drinks. Cocktail, मिश्रित शराब, न, instruction added later to a will, usually to change a part of it. Codicil, वसीयतनामे के बाद का परिवर्तन पत्र, to compel or force someone to do something against their will. Coerce, जबरदस्ती करना, the use of force or threats to compel someone to act. Coercion, जोर जबरदस्ती, a strongbox or small chest for holding valuables. Coffer, तिजोरी, a collection of slaves. Coffle, गुलामों का काफिला, a remarkable concurrence of events without apparent causal connection, coincidence, संयोग, a person with whom one works in a profession or business, colleague, सहकर्मी, a formal conversation or dialogue, colloquy, वार्तालाप, a secret agreement. For a deceitful purpose, collusion, milibhagat, a group of animals or insects, ants, of the same kind living together, colony, एक ही प्रजाति के जीवों का सामूहिक निवास, a gigantic statue, colossus. विशाल मूर्ति, to honor the memory of a person or event. Especially with a ceremony, commemorate, स्मृति में समारोह करना, a payment to an agent. Usually a percentage of sales, commission, दलाली, बिक्री पर मिलने वाला हिस्सा. The process of making something into a product that can be bought and sold, commodification, किसी चीज को बेचने योग्य. बनाने की प्रक्रिया, an act of exchanging information, communication, संचार, a feeling of deep sympathy for the suffering of others. With a desire to help, compassion, दया. अन पे छोटे ऊ की मात्रा का आधा म प पे आ की मात्रा, a person from the same country as another, compatriot, आधा स व द पे ए की मात्रा श व पे आ की मात्रा स पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा, a person who introduces the performers or contestants in a variety show, compare, कार्यक्रम प्रस्तुतकर्ता, satisfied. With no desire to change or improve, complacent, आधा तम स पे ऊ की मात्रा त पे छोटे ऊ की मात्रा आधा शटर, thing that completes or brings to perfection, compliment, पूरक, a remark that expresses approval or admiration, compliment, प्रशंसा, to act in accordance with rules, requests or wishes, comply, पालन करना, a person who arranges type for printing, compositor, प्रिंट से पहले शब्दों या वाक्यों को व्यवस्थित करने वाला, a feeling of guilt or moral scruple that prevents or follows wrongdoing, compunction, अपराध बोध, पछतावा, to hide something from view or knowledge, conceal, छिपाना, having too much pride in yourself and what you do, conceited, अभिमानी, capable of being imagined or grasped mentally, conceivable. का आधा ल प न पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा य, having a common center. As circles or spheres, concentric, स का पे ए की मात्रा पे अ की मात्रा आधा द र पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा य, living together of a man and woman without being married to each other, concubinage, बिना विवाह के साथ रहना, न expression of sympathy for someone who has lost a loved one, condolence, शोक संवेदना, दुख प्रकट करना. An apartment building with individually owned units and shared common areas, condominium, स्वामित्व वाले फ्लैटों का सामूहिक आवास, to accept or overlook wrongdoing without protest or censure, condone, अनदेखा करना, a person who makes or sells sweets or chocolate, confectioner, मिठाई बेचने वाला, to own up to something is true, confess. कबूल करना, न arrangement of parts or elements in a particular form or figure, configuration, एक विशेष आकृति में तत्वों की व्यवस्था, to officially take something away from somebody, confiscate, जब्त करना, actively burning, conflagrant, जलता हुआ, a place where two or more rivers meet, confluence, संगम, a person who follows accepted behavior and established practices, conformist, परंपरानुसार चलने वाला व्यक्ति, belonging or pertaining to an individual from birth, congenital, जन्मजात, a corporation made up of a number of different companies that operate in diversified fields, conglomerate. कंपनियों का समूह, a group of people gathered for religious worship, congregation, धार्मिक सभा, न opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information, conjecture, निराधार अनुमान. A person who has expert knowledge and refined taste in a particular subject, connoisseur, किसी विषय का पारखी व्यक्ति, न inner feeling that tells you what is right and what is wrong, conscience. आधा न तर पे आ की मात्रा आधा तम पे आ की मात्रा one who does their work thoroughly and seriously, conscientious, कर्तव्यनिष्ठ compulsory enlistment for military service, conscription, अनिवार्य सैन्य भर्ती the preservation and protection of the environment, conservation, प्राकृतिक संरक्षण one who is opposed to great or sudden change, conservative, रूढ़िवादी। अपर र पे छोटी ई की मात्रा व आधा र तन व पे आ की मात्रा द पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा to comfort someone at a time of grief or disappointment, console, सांत्वना देना a secret plan made to do something harmful or illegal, conspiracy, षड्यंत्र group of stars that forms a shape in the sky and has a name, constellation, nakshatra, तारों का समूह, state of anxiety or dismay causing mental confusion, consternation, घबराहट something that is restricted or limited, constrained, विवश किया हुआ extremely skilled, consummate, उत्कृष्ट the situation in which a disease is spread by touching someone or something, contagion, संक्रमण a disease that spreads easily from one person to another through contact, contagious, संक्रामक something made impure by exposure to polluting substances, contaminated, दूषित belonging to a living in the same time period as another, contemporary, समकालीन feeling satisfied and happy with what one has, contented, संतुष्ट likely to cause argument or disagreement, contentious, झगड़ालू touching along the side or boundary, contiguous, निकटवर्ती an event that may or may not happen, a possible future event or circumstance, contingency, आकस्मिकता goods illegally imported or exported, contraband, तस्करी का माल a written legal agreement, to shrink or become smaller, contract, समझौता, सिकुड़ना, gradual recovery of health and strength after illness, convalescence, स्वास्थ्य लाभ, बीमारी से ठीक होने की प्रक्रिया, a place where nuns live and work, convent, ननों का मठ a group of vehicles traveling together under escort, convoy, क पे आ की मात्रा फ पे छोटी ई की मात्रा ल पे आ की मात्रा the ceremony of crowning a king or queen, coronation, राज्याभिषेक a collection of written or spoken texts, corpus, संग्रह, पुस्तक संग्रह to confirm with the help of evidence, corroborate, पुष्टि करना a funeral procession, cortege, शव यात्रा a person who makes maps of the universe or the world, cosmographer, ब्रह्मांड का मानचित्र बनाने वाला the science of the general features of the universe, cosmography, विश्वरचना विज्ञान a person who regards the whole world as their country, cosmopolitan, स आधा र व द पे ए की मात्रा श पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा य a fraudulent, imitation of something genuine, counterfeit, नकली वस्तु a sudden, violent overthrow of a government by force, coup, तख्तापलट a stanza having two lines in verse, couplet, दो पंक्तियों का पद्य a person who takes care of cattle, cowherd, ग्वाला skill in a particular craft or trade, craftsmanship, कारीगरी that can be believed or trusted, credible, विश्वसनीय ready to believe things too easily, credulous, भोला भाला a system of religious belief, creed. आस्था संहिता a place where a dead person's body is burnt, crematorium, श व द पे आ की मात्रा ह ग पे री की मात्रा हर a turning point of danger or difficulty, crisis, संकट a principle or standard by which anything is or can be judged. Criterion, मापदंड a person who expresses an unfavorable opinion, critic, आलोचक the sound made by frogs, croak, टर्राहट, make की आवाज, to break or fall apart into small fragments, crumble, चूर-चूर. होना a vigorous campaign for political, social, or religious change, crusade, धर्मयुद्ध. सशक्त अभियान having or forming a hard outer layer, crusted, प प अड़ पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा द पे आ की मात्रा र coded message or a device used for encoding or decoding secret messages, cryptograph, गुप्त संदेश. कूटलेखन उपकरण the study or practice of writing and decoding secret messages. Cryptography, कूटलेखन विद्या a style of cooking characteristic of a particular country or region, cuisine, भोजन. Park shelves deserving blame for a fault or wrongdoing, culpable, अपराध के लिए उत्तरदायी the beliefs, customs, arts, and way of life of a particular society or group, culture, sanskriti, a keeper or custodian of a museum or other collection, curator, संग्रहालय का संरक्षक a regulation requiring people to remain indoors during specified hours, curfew, घर से बाहर निकलने पर सरकारी रोक a strong desire to know or learn something, curiosity, जिज्ञासा the system of money used in a particular country, currency. Mudra to express a wish that misfortune befall a person, curse, श्राप देना, बदुआ देना, the degree to which something is curved, curvature, vakrata. Ghumav duty on imports or exports, customs, Seema Shulk a person who believes people act only from self-interest, cynic, nindak. Sandehvadi vyakti na extreme fear of dogs, cynophobia, कुत्तों का भय a center of attraction or attention, cynosio, akarshan bindu the branch of biology dealing with the study of cells, cytology. Koshika Vigyan a reckless person who enjoys doing dangerous things, daredevil, dussahasi a large amount of information stored in a computer system, database, आंकड़ा संग्रह, database, a state of stunned confusion, daze, स्तब्ध अवस्था. Sadma a situation when no progress is possible, deadlock, gatirodh one who cannot hear, deaf, behra a performer's first public appearance, debut, पहला सार्वजनिक प्रदर्शन या शुरुआत a period of 10 years. Decade, दशक न athletic event comprising 10 different events. Decathlon, 10 खेलों वाली athletic प्रतियोगिता to convert secret or encrypted messages into a readable form. Decode, कूट भाषा को. सुलझाना the act of injuring another's reputation by slanderous communication. Defamation, मानहानि to injure one's reputation. Defame, बदनाम करना an open refusal to obey orders or authority. Defiance. Avagya a lack or shortage of something essential. Deficiency, कमी. Abhav loss of self-awareness and restraint in a group. De-individuation, समूह में व्यक्तिगत पहचान खो जाना a feeling that one has experienced the present situation before. Deja vu, ऐसा एहसास की पहले देखा या अनुभव किया है to give one's authority or responsibility to another. Delegate, काम या जिम्मेदारी सौंपना the act of transferring one's authority to another. Delegation, जिम्मेदारी सौंपने की प्रक्रिया done consciously and intentionally, deliberate, जानबूझकर किया गया. Long and careful consideration or discussion, deliberation, विचार विमर्श minor crime or misconduct, especially by young people. Delinquency, दुराचार a young person tending to commit crimes. Especially minor ones, delinquent, दुराचारी, युवा अपराधी, NTO become liquid, typically during decomposition. Deliquesce, पिघलना. Galna a disturbed state of mind caused by an illness. Delirium, Matibram a political leader who seeks support by appealing to popular desires and prejudices rather than rational argument. Demagogue. Bharkau neta a government by the people through elected representatives. Democracy, जनता द्वारा चुने गए प्रतिनिधियों का शासन the study of population in its dynamics. Demography, जनसांख्यिकी. Lion's home, den, मांद to take away or alter the natural qualities of. Denature, विकृत करना to criticize unfairly. Denigrate, बदनाम करना. नीचा दिखाना to represent or show something in words or pictures, depict, वर्णन करना a person who gives sworn written testimony for use in court, deponent, शपथपूर्वक बयान देने वाला one who is morally corrupt, depraved, brushed to feel and express strong disapproval, deprecate, निंदा करना. तुच्छ बताना to become less valuable over a period of time, depreciate, मूल्य घटना, अवमूल्यन करना a person appointed to act on behalf of another, deputy, उपाधि सदस्य. पदाधिकारी unable to think clearly because of a mental illness, deranged, विक्षिप्त, पागल a person without a home, job, or property, derelict, लावारिस. बेघर व्यक्ति failing to discharge one's duty, dereliction, कर्तव्य का त्याग to laugh at something in a cruel way, deride, उपहास करना a doctor who studies and treats skin diseases, dermatologist. त्वचा रोग विशेषज्ञ the scientific study of the skin and its diseases, dermatology, त्वचा विज्ञान the misuse or violation of something considered sacred, desecration, पवित्र चीज का अपमान the act of leaving a duty, post, or country, desertion, कर्तव्य त्याग extremely poor and lacking basic necessities, destitute, अत्यंत निर्धन a state of disuse or inactivity, desuetude, अप्रचलन one who investigates and solves crimes, detective, jasus. The act of discouraging something by instilling fear or doubt, deterrence, डराकर रोकने की नीति showing a skillful use of underhand tactics to achieve goals, devious, धूर्त showing or having skill. Especially with the hands, dexterous, हाथों से काम करने में निपुण to determine the nature of a disease. Diagnose, रोग पहचानना the process of deciding the nature of a disease by examination. Diagnosis, रोग की पहचान a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region. Dialect, बोली a method of reasoning through logical argument between opposing ideas, dialectic. तर्क वितर्क government by two rulers or authorities, दियाकी, द्वैध शासन a bitter and violent attack in words, diatribe, उग्र भाषण, कठोर निंदात्मक भाषण. A division into two completely opposite or contrasting parts, dichotomy, दो विपरीत भागों में विभाजन a ruler with total power over a country. Typically one who has obtained control by force, dictator, तानाशाह giving orders in a manner that permits no refusal, dictatorial, तानाशाही रवैया वाला a book listing words of a language with their meanings, dictionary, शब्दकोश modesty or shyness resulting from a lack of self-confidence, diffidence, आत्मविश्वास की कमी. झिझक spread over a wide area or between a large number of people, diffuse, फैला हुआ a situation requiring a choice between two equally undesirable alternatives, dilemma, दुविधा a person with a superficial interest in art or literature, dilettante, सथी रुचि रखने वाला व्यक्ति, शौकिया, careful and persistent effort in work, diligence, परिश्रम. मेहनत showing careful and persistent effort in one's work or duties, diligent, परिश्रमी. मेहनती and irresistible craving for alcoholic drinks, dipsomania, शराब की लत the person who supervises the making of a film, director, फिल्म निर्माण का प्रमुख संचालक a book containing names, addresses, and other information, directory, नाम और पते की पुस्तक a slow sad song sung at a funeral for a dead person, dirge, मृत्युगान, शोकगीत a sudden event causing great damage, destruction, or suffering, disaster, आपदा a heavy round plate of metal thrown by an athlete, discus, चक्का, चक्का फेंक प्रतियोगिता वाला, the state of being deprived of a right or privilege. Especially the right to vote, disenfranchisement, मताधिकार से वंचित होना something that is shameful and morally wrong, disgraceful, sharmanak disappointed and annoyed about something, disgruntled. Asantusht to change one's appearance to deceive or hide identity, disguise, bhesh badalna to break up into small parts is the result of impact or decay. Disintegrate, vighatit ho jana causing a mood of gloom and depression, dismal, nirashapurna feeling of distress or disappointment caused by something unexpected, dismay, nirasha. Hatasha to interrupt or disturb the normal progress of an activity or process, disrupt, badha dalna a person who opposes official policy, dissident, virodhi vyakti. Asahmat a range of different things, diversity, vividta to reveal a secret, divulge, prakat karna. Bhed kholna a person's permanent place of residence, domicile, Mool Nivas an area of land that is controlled by a ruler, dominion, adhipatya, shasan kshetra, temporarily inactive or in a state of rest. Dormant, nishkriya a large bedroom for a number of people in a school or institution, dormitory, shainagar relating to a situated on the back of an animal or plant, dorsal, peeth sambandhi a state of mental weakness due to old age, dotage, बुढ़ापे के कारण मानसिक कमजोरी a heavy fall of rain that often starts suddenly, downpour, मूसलाधार बारिश extremely harsh or severe laws or punishments. Draconian, अत्यंत कठोर. निर्दयी a game or contest that ends with no winner. Draw, anirnit the nest of a squirrel. Typically in the form of a mass of twigs in a tree, Dre, gilehri ka ghonsla light rain falling in very small drops. Drizzle, halki barish an abnormal or uncontrollable urge to travel, dromomania. Yatra karne ki aniyantrit tivra ichha a person affected by an uncontrollable urge to travel, dromomaniac, yatra karne ki aniyantrit tivra ichha se grast vyakti a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall, drought, Sukha a herd or flock of animals being driven in a body, drove, jhund capable of being bent or pulled into different shapes, ductile, tanya, kheenchkar tar banane yogya. A contest between two people to settle a point of honor, duel, dvandva yuddha one who cannot speak, dumb, gunga something that is strong and lasts a long time without breaking or becoming weaker. Durable, Tikao the time just before night when light is fading, dusk, sanj. Suryast ka samay a person. Animal or plant much below the usual height, dwarf, bonar a wall built to prevent the sea or a river from flooding an area, dike, band a succession of rulers belonging to one family, dynasty. Rajvansha disorder involving difficulty in reading and interpreting words. Letters and symbols, dyslexia, पढ़ने में कठिनाई होने वाला रोग a wooden frame for holding an artist's work while it is being painted or drawn, easel, canvas रखने का लकड़ी का ढांचा one who listens secretly to private conversations, eavesdropper, छिपकर बातें सुनने वाला unconventional and slightly strange in behavior or habits, eccentric, Vichitra repetition of sound caused by reflection of sound. Waves, echo, pratidhvani drawing ideas from many sources, eclectic, vivid sroton se liya hua a person who studies the relationships between organisms in their environment, ecologist. Paristhitiki vigyani the study of the interaction of organisms with their environment, ecology, Paristhitiki vigyan careful in the spending of money. Time, etc. Economical, kifayati feeling or expressing overwhelming happiness, a joyful excitement, ecstatic, atyant anandit fit or suitable to be eaten, edible, khane yogya to instruct or improve someone. Morally or intellectually, edify, gyanvardhan karna to prepare written material for publication by correcting or modifying it, edit, sampadan karna to rub or wipe out, efface, mitana a man behaving more like a woman than a man, effeminate, nari jaisa something that gives off gas bubbles, effervescent, bulbuledar achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense, efficient. Kushal a person who believes in the equality of all people, egalitarian, samanadhikarvadi, one who is excessively concerned with their own advantage or welfare, egoist, swarthi a person who talks excessively about themselves and is self-admiring, egotist, ghamandi outrageous and disgraceful, egregious, behad kharab the people in a country or area who are entitled to vote, electorate, matdata. Samuh a poem expressing sorrow for the dead, elegy, shokgeet a small mischievous fairy, elf, parikhtha ka chota jadui prani the art of effective and persuasive public speaking, elocution, vapatuta. Bhashan dene ki kala to run away secretly with a romantic partner, alop, premi ke saath bhag jana fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing, eloquent, prabhavshali dhang se bolne wala to make perfectly clear, elucidate, spasht karna a paradise with perfect bliss, elysium, swarg to free from restraint, emancipate, bandhan mukt karna the act of setting free from bondage of any kind, emancipation. Mukti an official order to stop doing business with another country, embargo, vyapar pratibandh feeling ashamed and shy, embarrassed, sharminda to fix an object firmly and deeply in a surrounding. Mass, embed, jarna. Garna a small piece of burning or glowing coal or wood in a dying fire, ember, angar to steal or misappropriate money entrusted to one's care, embezzle, gaban karna the act of misappropriating money entrusted to one's care, embezzlement, gaban to give a tangible or visible form to an idea. Quality or feeling, embody, मूर्त रूप देना. साकार करना having retired but retaining a title as an honor, emeritus, सेवानिवृत्त होकर भी सम्मान स्वरूप पदनाम बनाए रखने वाला a medicine that causes vomiting, emetic, वमनकारी, उल्टी लाने वाली, दवा. A person who leaves his country to live in another, emigrant, देश छोड़कर जाने वाला a person sent on a special mission. Usually diplomatic or secret, emissary, दूत the ability to understand and share another person's feelings, empathy, सहानुभूति, दूसरे की भावना समझने की क्षमता, one who hires others for work. Employer, काम देने वाला. A speech or piece of writing that praises someone highly, encomium, prashansa geet, a book or set of books giving information about all areas of knowledge, encyclopedia, Vishwakosh to try hard to do or achieve something, endeavor, prayatna karna a disease regularly found in a particular area and difficult to get rid of, endemic, किसी विशेष क्षेत्र में प्रचलित चीज या बीमारी, स्थानीय रोग, to sweep over something so as to surround it completely, engulf, घेर लेना a thing or person that is mysterious or difficult to understand, enigma, paheli. Rahasya difficult to interpret or understand, enigmatic, rahasyamaya doing something all together as a group, en masse, समूह में. सब मिलकर a state of mental weariness from lack of occupation or interest, ennui, नीरसता से उत्पन्न मानसिक थकान a group of dancers, actors. Or performers, ensemble, कलाकार मंडली to preserve a rite, tradition. Or idea in a form that ensures it will be protected and respected, enshrine, संरक्षित करना a scientist who studies insects, entomologist, कीटविज्ञानी the scientific study of insects, entomology. कीटविज्ञान a group of people who travel with an important or famous person, entourage, किसी प्रसिद्ध व्यक्ति के साथ चलने वाला दल a measure of how much disorder or randomness exists in a system. Entropy, अव्यवस्था की मात्रा likely to arouse envy, enviable, ईर्ष्या के योग्य lasting for a very short time, ephemeral, क्षणिक. थोड़े समय के लिए a long poem narrating heroic deeds or events of great significance, epic, महाकाव्य one who takes great pleasure in fine food and drink, epicure, भोग विलास प्रिय व्यक्ति devoted to the pursuit of pleasure, especially in food and comfort, Epicurean, भोग विलास प्रिय a widespread outbreak of a disease affecting many people at the same time, epidemic, mahamari a neurological disorder causing recurring seizures and loss of consciousness, epilepsy, mirgi a short speech at the end of a play, epilogue, upsahar the branch of philosophy concerned with the theory of knowledge, epistemology, ज्ञान का अध्ययन a formal or literary letter, a verse letter, epistle, kavyapatra an inscription on a tombstone in memory of the person who has died, epitaph, samadhi lekh. Smriti lekh a person or thing that is a perfect example of a particular quality or type, epitome, adarsh udaharan, marking a significant period in history, epochal, ऐतिहासिक रूप से बहुत महत्वपूर्ण. Imaginary line dividing Earth into northern and southern hemispheres, equator, भूमध्य रेखा a state of perfect balance, equilibrium, समतुल्यता the time when day and night are of equal length. Equinox, जब दिन और रात समान अवधि के हों capable of being completely destroyed or removed, eradicable, जड़ से खत्म करने योग्य to rub out writing, erase, मिटाना ना excessive desire or compulsion to work, ergomania, काम करने की अत्यधिक इच्छा a person who loves work, ergophile, काम का प्रेमी ना error in a printed book or document, erratum, मुद्रण या लेखन में अशुद्धि extensive knowledge acquired through study, erudition, विद्वत्ता, पांडित्य one who accompanies another for protection, guidance, or courtesy, escort, margrakshi respect and admiration for someone, esteem, आदर lasting forever without end, eternal, anant endless period of time, eternity, anantkal the philosophical study of moral values and rules, ethics, naitik siddhant believing one's own culture, race, or ethnic group is superior to others, ethnocentric, अपनी संस्कृति को श्रेष्ठ मानने वाला the study of the characteristics and customs of different peoples and cultures, ethnology, मानव जाति, विज्ञान to make pale or weak by excluding light, etiolate, प्रकाश की कमी से पीला या कमजोर करना the customary code of polite behavior in society, etiquette, शिष्टाचार a person who studies the origin of words, etymologist, शब्दों की उत्पत्ति का अध्ययन करने वाला the study of the origin and history of words, etymology, शब्दों की उत्पत्ति का अध्ययन the study of methods to improve the genetic quality of a human population, eugenics, मानव जाति सुधार का सिद्धांत to praise highly in speech or writing, eulogize, प्रशंसा करना of ना a formal expression of praise for someone who has died, eulogy. प्रशंसा भाषण, अक्सर मृत्यु के बाद, a mild or indirect expression used in place of one considered too harsh or blunt, euphemism, कठोर बात को कोमल तरीके से कहना pleasant or agreeable to the ear. Euphonic, सुरीला a feeling of intense happiness and excitement, euphoria, परम सुख बोध. The practice of painlessly ending the life of a person suffering from an incurable disease, euthanasia. Ichhamrityu to move people from a dangerous place to somewhere safer, evacuate, bahar nikalna quickly fading or disappearing like vapor, evanescent, kshanik to expel someone from a property. Especially with the support of the law, evict, bedakhal karna gradual development or change over time, evolution, kramik vikas to develop gradually, evolve, viksit hona to represent something as larger, better, or worse than it really is, exaggerate, बड़ा चढ़ाकर कहना, a person who is examined, examinee, परीक्षार्थी, much more than usual or expected, exceeding, अत्यधिक, a short piece of writing. Music or film taken from a longer whole, excerpt, bhag, अंश, a short journey for pleasure, excursion, Brahman, a critical explanation or interpretation of a text. Especially of scripture, exegesis, vyakhya, a feeling of excitement or happiness, exhilaration, harshollas, an urgent need or demand, exigency, tatkalik avashyakta, a poll taken of voters as they leave a voting place. Used to predict election results, exit poll, मतदान के बाद का सर्वेक्षण, a situation in which many people leave a place at the same time. Exodus, लोगों का बड़े पैमाने पर पलायन, to free somebody from all blame, exonerate, दोषमुक्त करना, extremely high. Especially in price or amount, exorbitant, अत्यधिक, a large open area of land. Water or sky, expanse, Vishal Kshetra, a person who lives outside his native country, expatriate, Videsh में रहने वाला व्यक्ति, a journey undertaken by a group of people for exploration or research. Expedition, Abhiyan, खोज यात्रा, to officially make a student leave a school permanently, expel, निष्कासित करना, a person who has a lot of special knowledge or skill, expert, विशेषज्ञ, to make atonement for one's sins. Expiate, प्रायश्चित करना, to come to an end, expire, समाप्त होना, a person who travels to unknown or new places, explorer, खोजकर्ता, to remove objectionable parts from a book, expurgate, शुद्धिकरण करना, काट छांट करना, a speech or presentation made without previous preparation, extempore, बिना तैयारी के, no longer in existence, extinct, विलुप्त, 23:05, रात के 11:03, it me. To stop something from burning, extinguish, बुझाना, the act of obtaining something, especially money. By using force or threats, extortion, jabaran wasuli, to send back a criminal or an unwanted person to the country of origin, extradite, किसी अपराधी को उसके मूल देश को सौंपना, a person who wastes his money on luxury, extravagant, फिजूल खर्च, a lively and confident person who enjoys being with other people, extrovert, बहिर्मुखी व्यक्ति, a short story with a moral. Usually with animals as characters, fable, नैतिक शिक्षा देने वाली छोटी कहानी, a false outer appearance used to hide the truth, facade, दिखावा, something that is achieved too easily, facile, सहज, an exact copy of handwriting or a picture produced by a machine, facsimile, प्रतिलिपि. Hubahu nakal, a small organized dissenting group within a larger one, faction, good, something that is not genuine, fake, nakli, a false idea or belief, fallacy, galat dharana, capable of making mistakes or being wrong, fallible, भूल चूक करने योग्य, land plowed but left unsown to restore its fertility, fallow, खाली छोड़ी गई खेती की ज़मीन, a complete and blatant lie, falsehood, असत्यता, a lack of food during a long period of time in a region, famine, akal, a person motivated by irrational enthusiasm, fanatic, kattarpanthi, marked by extreme and obsessive enthusiasm for a belief or cause. Fanatical, kattartapurna, a pleasant situation that one imagines but is unlikely to happen, fantasy, kori kalpna, one who is difficult to please, fastidious, बारीकियों पर अत्यधिक ध्यान देने वाला, बहुत चुनिंदा, causing or ending in death, fatal, घातक, the belief that all events are predetermined and inevitable, fatalism, भ पे आ की मात्रा आधा ग य व पे आ की मात्रा दर, a person who believes that all events are predetermined and inevitable, fatalist, भाग्यवादी, extreme tiredness resulting from mental or physical exertion, fatigue, अत्यधिक थकान, the animals of a particular region, fauna, किसी क्षेत्र के जीव जंतु possible and practical to achieve, feasible, संभव or pretended attack, feint, धोखेबाजी भरी चाल. To congratulate someone in a formal manner, felicitate, बधाई देना. सम्मानित करना well chosen or suited to the circumstances, felicitous, उपयुक्त pertaining to the cat family, feline, बिल्ली प्रजाति का relating to or involved in serious crime, felonious, गंभीर. अपराध से संबंधित one who advocates equal rights and opportunities for women, feminist, नारीवादी a boat that transports passengers and goods over short distances regularly, ferry, यात्रियों को ले जाने वाली नौक relating to a festival, festal, उत्सव संबंधी a bitter and prolonged quarrel between families. Groups, or individuals, feud, शत्रुता changing frequently, fickle, chanchal, अस्थिर something that is made up and does not exist in reality, fictitious, काल्पनिक faithfulness or loyalty to a person. Cause, or belief, fidelity, nishtha something that is imagined but does not exist, figment, mangarant kalpna the killing of one's own child, filicide, santan hatya having a consistency that does not easily yield to pressure, firm, drid and obsessive interest in something or someone, fixation, किसी से गहरा लगाव a natural talent or aptitude for something, flair, प्रतिभा attracting attention with a flashy a showy style, flamboyant, भड़कैला an imperfection or weakness, flaw, दोष a group of ships sailing together, fleet, जहाजों का बेल्व capable of bending easily without breaking and able to be easily modified, flexible, लचीला or quick. Sudden movement, flick, झटका to shine with a bright but brief or irregular light, flicker, झ पे छोटी ई की मात्रा ल म पे छोटी ई की मात्रा ल पे आ की मात्रा न पे आ की मात्रा the opposite or less desirable aspect of a situation, flip side, अवांछित पहलू a group of birds of one kind, flock, झुंड the plants and vegetation of a particular region, flora, किसी क्षेत्र की वनस्पति a person who sells and arranges cut flowers, florist, फूलवाला to struggle clumsily or helplessly, flounder, हाथ पांव मारना, बुरी तरह संघर्ष करना, an accidental stroke of good fortune, fluke, अकस्मात सफलता continuous movement and change, flux, प्रवाह, the act of destroying a fetus. In the womb, feticide, Bhrun Hatya a story that is passed down from generation to generation through spoken word, folktale, lokatha a worker who supervises other workers, foreman, कामगारों की निगरानी करने वाला scientific methods and techniques used in crime investigation, forensics, अपराध की जांच में प्रयुक्त वैज्ञानिक विधियां the ability to predict or plan for the future, foresight. Durdarshita an introductory section of a book. Typically by a person other than the author, forward, prastavna deprived of property or a right as a penalty for wrongdoing, forfeited, zabt kiya gaya the loss or giving up of something as a penalty for wrongdoing, forfeiture, then swarup adhikar, संपत्ति का खोना to make or shape metal by heating, forge, धातु को गर्म कर ढालना the act of falsifying documents, forgery, जालसाजी direct and outspoken, forthright, स्पष्टवादी a period of 2 weeks, fortnight, 2 सप्ताह happening by chance. Especially to one's advantage, fortuitous, आकस्मिक the preserved remains or impression of a prehistoric organism in rock, fossil, जीवाश्म an abandoned child of unknown parents, foundling, लावारिस. बच्चा an entrance hall in a building used by the public. Especially a hotel or theatre, foyer, pravesh kaksh, lobby, easily broken or damaged, fragile, nazuk the condition of being weak or in poor health, frailty, kamzori the right to vote in public elections. A license to sell a company's goods or services in a particular area, franchise, मताधिकार. व्यापार संचालन का अधिकार. बच्चा in entrance hall in a building used by the public. Especially a hotel or theater, foyer, pravesh kaksh, lobby, easily broken or damaged, fragile, nazuk the condition of being weak or in poor health, frailty, kamzori the right to vote in public. Elections. A license to sell a company's goods or services in a particular area, franchise, मताधिकार. व्यापार संचालन का अधिकार. The killing of one's brother, fratricide, भ्रातृहत्या an act of deceiving somebody in order to make money, fraud, धोखा causing anxiety or distress, fraught, चिंताया. परेशानी से भरा careful and economical with spending, frugal, कम खर्चीला the feeling of being upset or annoyed as a result of being unable to change or achieve something, frustration, hatasha a person who has escaped from captivity or is in hiding, fugitive, bhagoda doing something awkwardly or in a clumsy manner, fumbling, हड़बड़ाया हुआ a person who walks on a tightrope, funambulist, रस्सी पर चलने वाला नाट, a person or organization that collects donations for a particular cause, fundraiser, विशेष उद्देश्य के लिए धन संग्रह करने वाला a simple organism without flowers or leaves that spreads quickly and can cause disease, fungus, fafundi the soft, thick hair covering the body of some animals, fur, जानवरों के शरीर का घना बाल the main body of an aircraft, fuselage, हवाई जहाज का ढांचा a state of agitation especially over a trivial matter, fuss. बेकार की चिंता brave, noble, and chivalrous, gallant, वीर causing annoyance or resentment, galling, kashtdayak an act or remark that is calculated to gain an advantage, gambit, चाल to run or jump about playfully, gamble. उछल-कूद करना expressed in an unclear or confusing way, garbled, अस्पष्ट excessively talkative. Especially on trivial matters, garrulous, batuni the art and practice of cooking and eating good food, gastronomy, pak kala a person who studies and works with gemstones, gemologist, ratn visheshagya. A chief or commander of an army. Affecting all or most people, places, or things, general, senadhyaksh, vyapak. Samanya the origin or birth of a thing, genesis, utpatti the science of heredity, genetics, anuvanshiki a person with exceptional intellectual or creative ability, genius, pratibhashali vyakti the. Deliberate killing of a large group of people. Especially of a particular nation or ethnic group, genocide, narsanhar the category to which a film or series belongs, genre, sahitya, film ki change something that truly comes from its stated a reputed source, genuine, asli a belief that the earth is the center of the universe, geocentrism, Bhu-Kendriya Siddhant the shortest possible path between 2 points on a curved surface, geodesic. Vakr satah par sabse chota marg a person who studies the earth and the materials of which it is made, geologist, bhuvigyanik the scientific study of the earth. Including its structure, rocks, and soil, geology, bha pe bade u की मात्रा ग आधा र bha sh pe a की मात्रा आधा स आधा त ra the branch of medical science which deals with the problems of the old, geriatrics, vridhavastha chikitsa shastra a government by old people, gerontocracy, vridha. लोगों का शासन, the scientific study of old age and the problems of elderly people, gerontology, वृद्धावस्था का अध्ययन to manipulate electoral boundaries for political advantage, gerrymander. चुनावी क्षेत्रों की हेरफेर करना a movement of part of the body to express an idea or feeling, gesture, इशारा causing horror or shock, ghastly, bhayaveh, a part of a city. Especially a poor area, where people of a particular race or religion live, ghetto, gandi basti, unintelligible or meaningless speech or writing, gibberish, bematlab shabd, inflammation of the gums, gingivitis, masude ki sujan, the main point or essence of a speech. Text or matter, gist, sar, mukhya baat, an extremely large mass of ice which moves very slowly, often down a mountain valley, glacier, ha pe choti e ki matra, mana the pe badi e ki matra, a pair of lenses set in a frame. Want to correct defects of vision, glasses, chashma, a person who fits and repairs glass in windows, glazier, कांच का काम करने वाला, a list of technical or special words with their meanings, glossary. शब्दावली न, extreme fear of public speaking, glossophobia, सार्वजनिक भाषण का भय, to look at someone in an angry or threatening way, glower, घूर कर देखना, one who eats excessively, glutton, अत्यधिक. भोजन करने वाला, to bite like a rat, no. Kutarna, a person who enjoys eating and often eats too much, gourmand, adhik khane wala, bhojan premi, a connoisseur of good food and cooking, gourmet, swadisht. Bhojan ka jankar, elegance and smoothness of movement, grace, shalinta, writing or drawings made on walls or public surfaces without permission, graffiti, दीवार चपे छोटी ई की मात्रा, आधा तरपे की मात्रा, a piece of living tissue or plant that is transplanted surgically, graft, प्रत्यारोपण, जीवित हिस्से को काटकर दूसरी जगह रोपना या जोड़ना, a building where grain is stored, granary, ध पे आ की मात्रा, आधा न, य पे आ की मात्रा, ग पे आ की मात्रा, र, a person who analyzes handwriting to determine personality, graphologist, hastlekh visheshagya, the study of handwriting to analyze personality, graphology, hastlekh vigyan, without payment, gratis, nishulk, a glass building used for growing plants that need protection from cold weather, greenhouse, paudha ghar, living in groups, tending to associate with others of one's kind, gregarious, झुंड में रहने वाला, milansar, to reduce to powder by crushing, grind, पीसना, the sound a bear makes, growl, भालू के गुर्राने की आवाज, a low, short guttural sound, especially as made by a pig, grunt, घुरघुराहट, सुअर की आवाज, one who is easily deceived, gullible, भोला भाला, to eat or drink quickly and in large amounts, gulp, निगल जाना, a strong blast of wind. Gust, हवा का झोंका, a room filled with equipment for games and physical exercise, gymnasium, vyayamshala, a doctor who specializes in the medical care of women's reproductive system, gynecologist. Strirog Visheshagya, the branch of medicine dealing with the study of blood and blood-forming organs, hematology, Rakt Vigyan, a false perception of things that do not really exist, hallucination. Matibram, a drug which makes one see things that are not really there, hallucinogen. Vibharamik Dawa, a very small village, hamlet, Chota gav, to hinder or obstruct, hamper, rokna, an object made skillfully by hand, handicraft, Hastshilp, a building in which aircraft are housed, hangar, Vape choti ki matra, mape a ki matra, na shape a ki matra, lape a ki matra, a lengthy and aggressive speech addressed to a large assembly, harang, akramak bhashan, to trouble and annoy continually, harass, pareshan karna, a person or thing that signals the approach of something, harbinger, sandeshwahak, a place of shelter for ships, harbor, bandargah, a spear used for hunting large fish. Harpoon, Matsya Bhala, acutely distressing, harrowing, Khaufnak, unpleasantly rough or severe. Especially to the senses, harsh, Kathor, to annoy or bother someone repeatedly, hassle, Pareshan karna, a strong feeling of dislike, hatred, Nafrat, a large catch of fish, haul, machliyon ki badi matra. Pakar, a vehicle for conveying the coffin at a funeral, hearse, shav vahan in an enthusiastic way, heartily, उत्साह से making one feel very sad, heart-wrenching, दुखी करने वाला to interrupt a public speaker with derisive or aggressive comments, heckle, बीच-बीच में टोकना, बाधा डालना. A person who believes that pleasure is the most important thing in life, hedonist, sukhwadi to pay careful attention to, heed, ध्यान देना. A person who is legally entitled to inherit the property or rank of another, है, वारिस preferring or attracted to sunlight, heliophilus, धूप पसंद करने वाला. Treatment using exposure to sunlight for healing, heliotherapy, धूप द्वारा उपचार. A person who steers a ship, helmsman, जहाज की पतवार संभालने वाला. A seven-sided figure, heptagon, सप्तभुज. A systematically arranged collection of dried plants, herbarium, vanaspati sangrahalaya. An animal that feeds on plants, herbivorous, shakahari. A group of cattle or sheep, herd, jhund. A belief or opinion that contradicts established religious doctrine. Opinion contrary to accepted beliefs, heresy, किसी धर्म या स्वीकृत सिद्धांतों के विपरीत राय. A person who holds beliefs contrary to established religious doctrine, heretic, धर्म विरोधी. A person living in solitude for religious practices, hermit, sannyasi. To pause indecisively, hesitate, हिचकिचाना. Consisting of dissimilar elements, heterogeneous, vivid. Enabling discovery or problem solving through practical methods rather than theory, heuristic, खोज करने में सहायक. A six-sided figure, hexagon, षटभुज. To spend winter in a dormant state, hibernate, शीत निद्रा में जाना. A condition of sleep during certain parts of the year, hibernation, शीत निद्रा. Intellectual or cultured in taste and interests, highbrow, बौद्धिक. To seize control of a vehicle by force, especially an aircraft, hijack, अपहरण करना, विशेषत वाहन या विमान का. The land lying inland from a coast or river, hinterland, भीतरी इलाके. The sound made by a snake, hiss, सांप की फुफकार. Very dramatic, histrionic, नाटकीय. A container for housing honeybees, hive, मधुमक्खी का छत्ता. To secretly store more than what is allowed, hoard, गुप्त तरीके से जमा करना. Destruction or slaughter on a mass scale, holocaust, व्यापक नरसंहार. The killing of a person by another, homicide, मानव हत्या. Of the same or similar kind throughout, homogeneous, सजातीय, a word that is spelt and pronounced the same as another but has a different meaning, homonym. समलिखित और समोच्चारित भिन्नार्थक शब्द. mass of wax cells built by honey bees to store honey, honeycomb, शहद का छत्ता. A payment given for professional services that are rendered nominally without charge, honorarium, मानदेय. सम्मान राशि. holding an office or position as an honor without payment, honorary, अवैतनिक. deserving respect or admiration for ethical and fair conduct, honorable, माननीय. The sound of an owl. Hoot, उल्लू की बोली. A large group of people, horde, भीड़. The line where the land and sky seem to meet, horizon, क्षितिज. The study of time and watches, horology, घड़ियों और समय मापन का अध्ययन. Extremely unpleasant or horrifying, horrendous, भयावह. The study of growing garden plants, horticulture, उद्यान विज्ञान. One who studies the art of gardening, horticulturist, उद्यान विज्ञान. विशेषज्ञ. Friendly and welcoming to visitors, hospitable, सत्कार करने वाला. The friendly reception and entertainment of guests, hospitality, अतिथि सत्कार. A person held captive for the fulfillment of demands, hostage, बंधक. A woman who entertains guests, hostess. स आधा तक क पे आ की मात्रा. र पे छोटी ई की मात्रा. अण पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा. One who loses temper very soon, hot-headed, उग्र स्वभाव का. Annoyed or irritated and quick to take offense at petty things. Huffy, झुंझलाया हुआ the organic component of soil formed by decomposed plant matter, humus, जैविक मिट्टी an assembly or parliament in which no party has a clear majority, hung, बहुमत विहीन ए. Violent wind that has circular movement, hurricane, चक्रवात in a quick manner, hurriedly, हड़बड़ी में a box or cage for rabbits, a small animals, hutch, छोटे जानवरों के रहने का घर a serpent with many heads in Greek mythology, hydra, बहु सिर वाला काल्पनिक सर्प the science of surveying and charting bodies of water, hydrography, जलराशि विज्ञान an extreme or irrational fear of water. Especially as a symptom of rabies, hydrophobia, पानी का डर a song or music in praise of God, hymn, स्तुति गीत. Bhajan an exaggerated statement not to be taken seriously or literally, hyperbole, अतिशयोक्ति excessive preoccupation with one's health, hypochondria, रोगभ्रम, a person who imagines illness or is abnormally anxious about health, hypochondriac, रोगभ्रमी the practice of pretending to have virtues or beliefs one does not actually possess, hypocrisy, pakhand a person who pretends to be what they are not, hypocrite, pakhandi a tentative theory about the natural world, hypothesis, parikalpna a person who attacks or criticizes cherished beliefs or institutions, iconoclast, sthapit manyataon का विरोधी a person's peculiar habit or characteristic way of behaving, idiosyncrasy, विशेष स्वभाव a mode of behavior or thought peculiar to an individual, idiosyncratic, विशेष स्वभाव का न image of a god used for worship, idol, pratima. Murti the practice of worshipping statues as gods, idolatry, murti puja extremely happy, peaceful. Or picturesque, idyllic, shant or sukhad a circular house made of blocks of hard snow, igloo, बर्फ का घर difficult or impossible to read, illegible, अपठन पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा या something that is not permitted by law. Illicit, अवैध unable to read or write, illiterate, unpar to brighten up with lights, illuminate, प्रकाश करना a picture in a book used to explain or decorate the text, illustration, चित्रण existing only in the mind, imaginary, काल्पनिक a very complex situation, imbroglio, उलझन something that can be copied, imitable, नकल करने योग्य. अनुकरणीय the action of using someone or something as a model, imitation, नकल. Anukaran a person who comes to a foreign country to settle there permanently, immigrant, apravasi, दूसरे देश में बसने वाला व्यक्ति. The act of passing or coming into a new habitat or country. Immigration, किसी नए देश में बसने के लिए आना, unable to move or be moved, immobile, अचल against accepted moral standards, immoral, अनैतिक never able to die, immortal, अमर resistant to a particular infection, immune, प्रतिरक्षित. रोग प्रतिरोधी protection or exemption from something. Especially an obligation or penalty, immunity, छूट या संरक्षण to pierce with a sharp instrument, impale, छ पे ए की मात्रा दन पे आ की मात्रा not supporting any side in an argument, impartial, निष्पक्ष the action of formally accusing a public official of a serious offense, impeachment, महाभियोग the policy of extending a country's empire and influence, imperialism, साम्राज्यवाद, not allowing fluid to pass through. Unaffected by external influence, impervious, abhedya. Aprabhavit to harass someone persistently to do something, importune, बार बार आग्रह करके परेशान करना a person who dishonestly pretends to be someone else in order to deceive, impostor, ढोंगी, खुद को कोई और बताकर धोखा देने वाला, too strong to be defeated or captured, impregnable, अजेय, जिसे हराना असंभव हो, made or done without previous preparation, impromptu, बिना तैयारी के one who is too careless to plan for the future, improvident, adurdarshi, shamelessly rude, impudent, beat exemption from punishment or freedom from harmful consequences, impunity, dandmukti, incapable of being approached, inaccessible, durgam, something that is not endowed with life, inanimate, nirjeev. Achetan, unable to speak distinctly or express oneself clearly, inarticulate, vyakt karne mein asamarth, a sound that cannot be heard, inaudible, ashravya. Sunai na dene wala, a deity or spirit embodied in human form, incarnate, manav roop mein avatar, a motive or a deity or spirit embodied in human form, incarnate, manav roop mein avatar, a motive or incitement to action, incentive, protsahan, continuing without pause or interruption, incessant. Bina ruke, lagatar, lack of civic mindedness or patriotism, incivism, नागरिक कर्तव्यों की अवहेलना, traveling under a name other than one's own, incognito, गुप्त पहचान में, something that is expressed in a confusing way, incoherent, asangat, difficult or impossible to understand, incomprehensible, समझ से बाहर, the state of not being in agreement or harmony, incongruence, asangati. मेल न खाना, impossible to deny or disprove, incontrovertible, avivadit, unable to be corrected or reformed, uncorrigible, ashodhaniya, jo kabhi na sudhar sake, extraordinary or unbelievable, incredible. Avishwasniya, owing money to someone, indebted, rini, incapable of feeling tired or exhausted, indefatigable, na thakne wala, something that cannot be erased or forgotten, indelible, sthai, too extreme or unusual to be adequately described, indescribable, avarniya. Originating or occurring naturally in a particular place, indigenous, swadeshi, anger about an unfair situation or about someone's unfair behavior, indignation, akrosh, something that is absolutely necessary or crucial, indispensable, apariharya. Nitant, avashyak, diligent and hardworking, industrious, mehnati, not fit to eat, inedible, akhadya, that which cannot be expressed in words, ineffable, avarniya, someone not fit to be chosen, ineligible, ayogya, lack of skill or ability, ineptness, ayogyata, lacking the ability to act, inert, akriya, something that cannot be avoided, certain to happen, inevitable, atal, jo tala na ja sake, not to be moved by entreaty, inexorable, hati. Nirdayi, that which cannot be put out, inextinguishable, jise bujhaya na ja sake, one who cannot make mistakes, infallible, achuk, the killing of an infant, infanticide, shishu hatya, without any limit or end, infinite, anant, a place in a large institution for the care of those who are ill, infirmary, aspatal, that which catches fire easily, inflammable, jwalansheel, a cluster of flowers on a branch, inflorescence, फूलों का गुच्छा, exceptionally clever or talented, ingenious, pratibhashali, the money, property, etc. received from someone after their death, inheritance, virasat, not guilty of any wrongdoing and lacking knowledge or awareness of it, innocent, nirdosh, causing no harm, innocuous, hanirahitan. Indirect reference, innuendo, ishara, galat bhavna se kiya gaya kataksh, to treat with a vaccine to promote immunity against a disease, inoculate, tika lagana, eager to learn or know things, inquisitive. Jigyasu, unable to be satisfied, insatiable, jiski ichha kabhi puri na ho, to write or carve words on stone or paper, inscribe, ankit karna, likhna, words carved on a stone or monument, inscription. Shilalekh, harmful in a quiet and gradual way, insidious, dhire dhire nuksan karne wala, ghatak, one who is unable to pay debts, insolvent, Diwaliya the condition of being unable to sleep over a period of time, insomnia, anidra covered with a material to stop heat, cold, electricity etc. From entering or escaping, insulated, rodhak padarth se dhaka hua a person who rebels against authority, insurgent, vidrohi that which cannot be perceived by touch, intangible, amurt, sparsh na kiye ja sakne wala, to combine to form a whole, integrate, sanghatit karna the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, integrity, akhanta one who interferes in the affairs of others, often for selfish reasons, interloper, dakhal dene wala vyakti an interval between two events, interlude, madhyantar one who intervenes between two or more parties to settle differences, intermediary. Madhyasth the act of burying a dead person, interment, dafan continuing for a very long time, interminable, anantkalin the act of confining someone in a prison, internment, najarbandi to add something in the middle of a text or piece of music. To estimate intermediate values, interpolate, बीच में डालना. मध्यवर्ती मान निकालना to place or insert between one thing and another, interpose, घुसाना the period between two reigns, interregnum, दो शासनों के बीच का काल to prevent or alter a result or course of events, intervene, हस्तक्षेप करना one who dies without making a valid will, intestate, बिन वसीयत मरा हुआ to force someone through fear to do or not to do something, intimidate, धमकाना थे. Examination or observation of one's own mental and emotional processes, introspection, atmanirikshan a person more focused on their own thoughts than social interaction, introvert, antarmukhi. Vyakti a person who enters without any invitation, intruder, घुसपैठिया to overflow or fill an area with excess water, inundate, जलमग्न कर देना. बाढ़ लाना a person weak and disabled by illness, invalid, बीमारी से कमजोर व्यक्ति a detailed list of things in a place, inventory, वस्तु सूची an animal that lacks a backbone, invertebrate, जानवर. जिसकी रीढ़ की हड्डी नहीं होती an official examination of the facts about a situation. Crime, etc., investigation, जांच पड़ताल a person who supervises during an examination, invigilator, परीक्षा पर्यवेक्षक to fill someone with energy and liveliness, invigorate, स्फूर्ति देना. तरोताज़ा करना that which cannot be conquered, invincible, अजेय a call upon God or any other power for help or protection, invocation, ahvan, a detailed list of goods dispatched with quantity and price to the purchaser, invoice, challan done without conscious control or intention, involuntary, anachchik that which cannot be harmed or wounded, invulnerable, abhedya easily provoked, irascible. Chirchira a literary device in which the opposite of what is expected occurs or is stated, irony, vyangya. Vidambana a statement that cannot be disproved or contradicted, irrefutable, a khandaniya showing a lack of proper respect for people or things held sacred, irreverent, another purn that which cannot be called back or reversed, irrevocable, जिसे बदला न जा सके to supply land with water by artificial means, irrigate, सींचना a piece of land entirely surrounded by water, island, dweep a small island, islet, chota dweep far away from other places, isolated, alag thalag a narrow strip of land connecting two larger land areas with water on both sides, isthmus, स्थलडमरू मध्य, भूमि की एक संकीर्ण पट्टी जो दो बड़े भूभागों को जोड़ती है, traveling from place to place. Especially to find work, itinerant, भ्रमणकारी a plan of a journey. Including the route and the places to be visited, itinerary, yatra karyakram a person employed to clean and maintain a building, janitor, chowkidar. Safaikarmi, special words and phrases used by particular groups of people, especially in their work. Jargon. Vishisht Shabdavali, a short journey made for pleasure. Jaunt, Manoranjan ki yatra in a lively, cheerful, and self-confident manner. Jauntily, prasannatapurvak, to cross streets on foot carelessly. Jaywalk, लापरवाही से सड़क पार करना, an extreme form of patriotism. Jingoism, Kattar Rashtravad, a person or thing believed to bring bad luck. Jinx, manhus, a person who rides in horse races, especially as a profession. Jockey, Ghurdaur ka Ghursavar, the profession of collecting and writing news for media. Journalism, Patrakarita, a person who writes for newspapers and magazines. Journalist, Patrakar, cheerful and friendly in manner. Jovial, Ullapurn, the part of a country's government responsible for its legal system. Judiciary, Nyayatantra, military group that rules the country after taking power by force. Junta, Sainya Shasakon ka Samuh, the science or philosophy of law. Jurisprudence, Nyayashastra, group of citizens who hear evidence in court and decide if someone is guilty. Jury, Nyayak Nirnayak Mandal, relating to young people who are not yet adults. Juvenile, Kishore Sambandhi, to place things side by side for comparison or contrast. Juxtapose, Sameep Rakhkar Tulna Karna, the philosophy that human knowledge is limited by the mind's capacity, preventing us from knowing things as they truly are. Kanchanism, Kant ke darshanik vichar, a small shelter for a dog. Kennel, Kutta ghar, the inner soft part of a seed, fruit, or nut. Kernel, Giri, Dana, one's relatives or family. Kin, Rishtedar, a small structure with one or more open sides used to sell merchandise. Kiosk, Choti Dukan. Gumti, a government by rulers who exploit public resources for personal gain. Kleptocracy, Loot Tantra, mental condition where a person feels an uncontrollable urge to steal. Kleptomania, Chori Karne ki mansik bimari, one who has a persistent neurotic impulse to steal. Kleptomaniac, Chori Karne ki bimari se पीड़ित व्यक्ति, a natural skill at doing something. Nak, किसी काम में प्राकृतिक हुनर थे. Sound of the funeral bell. Knell, शोक सूचक घंटे की ध्वनि, confusingly complex and difficult to navigate. Labyrinthine, बहुत उलझा हुआ. भूलभुलैया जैसा, a deep cut or tear in skin or flesh. Laceration, गहरा घाव, a structure with rungs used for climbing. Ladder, सीढ़ी, a saltwater lake separated from the sea by rocks and sand. Lagoon, Samudri Jheel, a place where wild animals live. Lair, Mand, the young one of a sheep. Lamb, Memna, an expression of grief, lament, shok. Vilap, a person who cuts and polishes gems. Lapidary, Ratn tarashne wala, the person who cuts, polishes, and engraves precious stones. Lapidist, Ratn kaatne, tarashne wala, a room or large cupboard for storing food. Larder, Khana rakhne ki jagah, denoting the second or second mentioned of two people or things. Latter, Badwala, worthy of high praise. Laudable, Prashansaniya, a place where clothes are washed and pressed. Laundry, Dhobighat, an honor given for some achievement. Laurel, Pratishtha, failing to give proper care or attention. Lax, Dhila Dhala, Laparwah, a medicine that softens the bowels. Laxative, पेट साफ करने की दवा, a legal agreement to use a building or land for a period of time in return for rent, lease, patta, kirayanama, aslaye. Lustful look, lure, vasnapur nazar, money or property left by someone in their will. Legacy, virasat, that which is lawful, legal, kanuni, free time when one is not working or occupied. Leisure, khali samay, resembling a lion. Leonine, Singh jaisa, a person who collects or studies butterflies. Lepidopterist, Titli Visheshagya, a person who writes and edits dictionaries. Lexicographer, Shabdkosh, Nirmata, the practice of writing and compiling dictionaries, lexicography, Shabdkosh Nirman, a list of words in a language. Arranged alphabetically, lexicon, Shabdkosh, responsible according to law, liable, Uttardai, a person who strongly believes in personal freedom of thought and action, libertarian, Vyaktigat. स्वतंत्रता में विश्वास करने वाला व्यक्ति, a place where books and other materials are kept for reading or borrowing, library, पुस्तकालय, a strong band of tissue that connects bones to each other. Ligament, हड्डियों को जोड़ने वाले तंतु, the center of public attention, limelight, प्रकाश में. चर्चा में, a humorous 5-line poem, limerick, 5 पंक्तियों वाली हास्य कविता, eating mud, limivorous, मिट्टी खाने वाला, the essential part that holds everything together, linchpin, मुख्य आधार. केंद्र बिंदु, to stay longer than necessary, linger, देर तक रुकना, a person who studies languages or knows several foreign languages well, linguist, भाषाविज्ञानी. बहुभाषाविद, one who can read and write, literate, sakshar, an understatement in which a positive idea is expressed by denying its opposite, e.g. not bad, litotes, दोहरे नकारात्मक द्वारा सकारात्मक अर्थ, farm animals raised for use or profit, livestock, पशुधन, very talkative, loquacious, बातूनी, easy to understand, lucid, सुस्पष्ट. Profitable, yielding financial gain, lucrative, लाभकारी, a soft gentle song sung to make a child go to sleep, lullaby, lori, a unit to measure light, lumen, प्रकाश की इकाई, a person who inspires others. Intellectually or morally, luminary, महान प्रेरणास्रोत, विद्वान, an amount of money that is paid at one time, lump sum, एकमुश्त, related to the moon, lunar, चंद्र संबंधी, one who is mentally not sound, lunatic, pagal, to make an abrupt, unsteady movement, lurch, लड़खड़ाना, a situation of great confusion, turmoil. और chaos, maelstrom, अत्यधिक उथल-पुथल या अराजकता की स्थिति, a person who performs tricks and illusions to entertain people, magician, जादूगर, kind, generous, and forgiving. Especially towards an enemy, magnanimous, उदार चरित्र, बड़ा दिल वाला, extremely beautiful, elaborate, or impressive, magnificent, भव्य, a young unmarried woman. First or earliest, maiden, avivahit. Pehla, the first public speech delivered by a person, maiden speech, pehla sarvajanik bhashan, the mistaken use of a word in place of a similar sounding one, malapropism, मिलते जुलते शब्द की जगह गलत शब्द का प्रयोग, one who is never happy with what he has, malcontent, असंतुष्ट, a feeling of ill will or desire to harm others, malevolence, दुर्भावना, causing or wanting to cause harm to others. Malevolent, दुर्भावनापूर्ण, failure to function normally, malfunction, तकनीकी खराबी, e.g. to shape in any desired form, malleable, आसानी से आकार लेने वाला, insufficient nourishment, malnutrition. कुपोषण, an animal that feeds its young with milk from the mother's body, mammal, स्तनपायी, in a way that is clear or obvious to the eye or mind, manifestly, स्पष्ट रूप से, a written statement by a group, especially a political party, explaining their beliefs and intentions, manifesto, घोषणापत्र, a dummy used to display clothes in a shop window, mannequin, पुतला, a carefully planned action or movement, maneuver, सोची समझी चाल. An instrument used for measuring the pressure of liquids and gases, manometer, दबाव नापने का यंत्र, a large impressive house, mansion, haveli, a document or book written by hand before being printed. Manuscript, हस्तलिखित, हाथ से लिखी हुई, relating to the sea, marine, समुद्री, relating to soldiers or war, martial, युद्ध संबंधी, one who demands strict conformity to rules, martinet, कठोर. Anushasak, one who is killed for the cause of religion or faith. Martyr, Shaheed, one who obtains pleasure from receiving pain or punishment. Masochist, पीड़ा में आनंद लेने वाला व्यक्ति, a person skilled in cutting, dressing, and laying stone in building. Mason, Rajmistri, excessively concerned with money and possessions. Materialistic, Bhautikwadi, a cinema show held in the afternoon. Matinee, दोपहर की film, a woman who is the head of the family. Matriarch, Matrisatatmak Mukhiya, the killing of one's mother. Matricide, Matrihatya, the state of being married. Matrimony, Dampatya. Vivaha Bandhan, a stately or impressive building housing a tomb or group of tombs. Mausoleum, Maqbara, a short statement expressing a general truth or rule of conduct. Maxim, Kahawat. Niti Vakya, an area of grassland where animals graze. Meadow, Charagah, to move about from place to place aimlessly. Meander, Idhar Udhar Ghumna, a person who repairs and maintains machines. Mechanic, मशीनों की मरम्मत करने वाला, one who interferes in others' affairs. Meddler, दखल देने वाला, to try to settle a dispute between two other parties. Mediate, मध्यस्थता करना, belonging to the Middle Ages. Medieval, मध्यकालीन, of only average standard. Mediocre, औसत दर्जे का, a musical composition made up of a series of songs or short pieces. Medley, गीत समूह, feeling or expressing pensive sadness. Melancholic, उदास और सोच में डूबा हुआ, a feeling of deep, lasting sadness. Melancholy, उदासी, a sound that is pleasing to hear. Melodious, madhur, a dramatic work with exaggerated emotions and sensational events. Melodrama, atinatakiya natak, one who loves music. Melophile, Sangeet Premi, an object kept as a reminder of a person or event. Memento, Yadgar Nishani, a written account of personal experiences. Memva, Sansmaran, a person or thing that is likely to cause harm, to threaten or endanger. Menace, Khatra, Darana Dhamkana, a collection of wild animals kept in captivity for exhibition. Menagerie, Pashu Shala, one who goes from place to place. Begging, Mendicant, Bhikhari, a soldier who fights for any country that pays them. Mercenary, Kiraye ka Sainik, a narrative technique where the line between reality and fiction is blurred, often involving self-awareness of being fictional. Metafiction, ऐसा साहित्य जो स्वयं के काल्पनिक होने का बोध कराए. The scientific study of metals in their uses. Metallurgy, धातु विज्ञान, a change in the form or nature of something. Metamorphosis, कायांतरण, paying careful attention to every detail. Meticulous, बारीकी से ध्यान देने वाला, a very small business, typically with fewer than 10 employees. Microenterprise, सूक्ष्म उद्यम, an extreme fear of small things. Microphobia, छोटी चीजों से डर, an instrument for magnifying very small objects for examination. Microscope, सूक्ष्मदर्शी, a traveler who moves from one region or country to another. Migrant, pravasi, the movement of people or animals from one area to another. Migration, pravas, a period of 1000 years. Millennium, हजार वर्ष, to imitate someone's actions or words in order to entertain or ridicule. Mimic, nakal utarna, the act of copying the behavior or speech of other people. Mimicry, anukaran, nakal, being conscious and attentive, mindful. Sachet, a person who studies rocks and minerals. Mineralogist, khanij visheshagya, a place where money is coined by authority of the government. Mint, taksal, a person who hates and avoids other people. Misanthrope, manavdveshi, a general contempt towards mankind. Misanthropy, manav se grina, to unfairly take something belonging to another for one's use. Misappropriate, gaban karna, one who loves money and hates spending it. Miser, conjuse, a word or name that is inappropriate for a person or thing. misnomer, galat naam, one who hates the institution of marriage, misogamist, विवाह से घृणा करने वाला, a person who hates women, misogynist, स्त्री से घृणा करने वाला, one who hates reasoning, argument or enlightenment, misologist, तर्क वितर्क से घृणा करने वाला, one who hates new things, machinist, नई चीजों से घृणा करने वाला, helping you to remember something, mnemonic, स्मृति सहायक, a large crowd of people, especially one that may become violent or cause trouble, mob, view, a particular method of working, modus operandi, karya pranali lasting for a very short time, momentary, kshanik of great importance or significance, momentous, atyant mahatvapurn, a supreme ruler, monarch, samrat, a system of government by a king or queen, monarchy, rajtantra, building where monks live as a community, monastery, mat, a warning of impending danger, manishan, chetavni, a member of a religious community living in a monastery, monk, sadhu, a person who has only one spouse at a time, monogamist, ek vivahvadi, the practice of having only one spouse at a time, monogamy, ek vivaha pratha, a detailed written study on a single subject, monograph, vishay vishesh par pustak, a long speech given by one person in a play or performance, monologue, ekal samvad, an obsession with one particular thing, monomania, ek hi baat ki dhun, the complete control of trade in particular goods or the supply of a particular service, monopoly, ekadhikar, a condition of having only one copy of a chromosome, monosomy, ek gunsutra hona, one who believes in only one god, monotheist, ekeshwarvadi, boring due to lack of variety, monotonous, neeras. Above, a series of shots put together sequentially to narrate something within a film, montage, क्रमबद्ध दृश्यों का संयोजन, a structure built to commemorate a person or event, monument, smarak, to secure a boat by attaching it to an anchor, moor, langar dalna, the customs and habits of a particular group, mauze, riti rivaj, a place where dead bodies are kept for identification, morgue, murda. Ghar, the scientific study of the structure and form of animals and plants, morphology, जीवों की बनावट का अध्ययन, the state of being subject to death, mortality, nashwarta, a legal agreement by which a bank lends you money to buy a house, mortgage, girvi, a place for keeping dead bodies before burial or cremation, mortuary, shavgreh, a picture or pattern made by arranging small pieces of colored stone or glass, mosaic, रंगीन पत्थर या कांच के टुकड़ों से बना कलात्मक रचना, to mark with spots or smears of color, mortal, धब्बेदार बनाना, looking or smelling extremely appetizing, mouth-watering, मुंह में पानी ला देने वाला, अत्यंत स्वादिष्ट, to make a sound quieter or to wrap or cover for warmth, muffle, आवाज दबाना. लपेटना, a sound that is not loud because of being obstructed, muffled, दबा हुआ, आवाज, proficient in speaking many languages, multilingual, बहुभाषी, the ability to do several things at the same time. Multitasking, एक साथ कई काम करने की क्षमता, consisting of many things or parts, multitudinous, असंख्य, a body preserved by treating it with special oils and wrapping it in cloth, mummy, संरक्षित. शव, ordinary and dull, mundane, साधारण, a building where objects of historical, scientific, or artistic interest are kept and displayed, museum, sangrahalaya, the act of refusing to obey the orders of somebody in authority, especially by soldiers or sailors, mutiny, bagavat, lacking foresight or intellectual insight, short-sighted, myopic, nikatadarshi, something that is difficult to understand or explain, mystery, रहस्य, the compulsion to tell lies, mythomania, झूठ बोलने की प्रवृत्ति, an extreme fear of myths or lies, mythophobia, झूठ या कल्पित कहानियों का डर, showing a lack of experience. Wisdom or judgment, naive, अनुभवहीन, a person or thing that has the same name as another, namesake, हमनाम, the habit of excessive admiration for oneself. Especially one's appearance, narcissism, आत्ममुग्धता, स्वयं से अत्यधिक प्रेम, a person having excessive admiration for oneself. Especially one's appearance, narcissist, आत्ममुग्ध व्यक्ति, स्वयं से अत्यधिक प्रेम करने वाला, a drug that induces drowsiness, sleep, or insensibility and relieves pain, narcotic, मादक पदार्थ just beginning to exist or develop, nascent, नवजात, highly unpleasant or offensive, nasty, घृणित, a person, animal or plant belonging originally to a particular place, native, स्थानीय, मूल निवासी, to guide the course of a ship. Especially by using instruments or maps, navigate, मार्ग निर्देशन करना, a fluid secreted by flowers which is collected by bees for making honey, nectar, pushprasth, so small or unimportant as to be not worth considering, negligible, नगण्य, ना के बराबर, one who mediates in a deal or complex situation, negotiator, समझौता कराने वाला, the sound made by a horse, neigh, हिनहिनाहट, a deserved and unavoidable punishment for wrongdoing. Nemesis, दंड जिससे बचा न जा सके, a newly coined word. Expression or usage, neologism, नवनिर्मित शब्द, a person who has recently started an activity, neophyte, नौसिखिया, a specialist in kidney diseases, nephrologist, गुर्दा विशेषज्ञ, the practice of giving unfair advantages to one's relatives, nepotism, भाई भतीजावा, the doctor who studies the nervous system and its disorders, neurologist, tantrika, रोग विशेषज्ञ, the study of the nervous system and its disorders, neurology, स्नायु विज्ञान, the scientific study of the nervous system and brain, neuroscience, tantrika vigyan, a hollow space in a wall for a statue or ornament, नीचे, आला, दीवार में बना खोखला, स्थान, the rejection of all religious and moral principles, in the belief that life is meaningless, nihilism, शून्यवाद, a transcendent state in which there is neither suffering, desire, nor sense of self, nirvana, moksha, occurring at night, nocturnal, रात में होने वाला, one who moves from place to place with no fixed home, nomad, खानाबदोश, a system of naming things, nomenclature, नामकरण प्रणाली, one who is between 90 and 100 years of age, nonagenarian, 90 से 99 वर्ष के बीच का व्यक्ति, one who does not follow accepted rules, customs or beliefs, nonconformist, रिवाजों या नियमों को न मानने वाला, an unimportant person, nonentity, तुच्छ व्यक्ति, a delusion of suffering from a disease, नौसमेनिया, बीमारी से पीड़ित होने का भ्रम, sentimental, longing for a period in the past, nostalgia, पुरानी यादों की तड़प, well known for being bad, a person of evil reputation, notorious, कुख्यात, the quality of being new and original, novelty, नवीनता, a person who is new to a profession without training or experience, novice, नौसिखिया, one who studies the occult meanings of numbers and their supposed influence on human life, numerologist, अंक ज्योतिषी, the study or collection of coins, numismatics, mudra shastra, person who studies or collects coins, numismatist, mudra shastri, a place where young plants or trees are grown for sale or for planting elsewhere, nursery, पेड़ पौधों को उगाने का स्थान, an extreme fear of darkness, nyctophobia, अंधेरे का डर, a big, clumsy, often slow-witted person, oaf, मूर्ख व्यक्ति, a fertile tract in a desert where the water table approaches the surface, oasis, मरुस्थल के बीच हरित भूमि, a notice of a person's death, obituary, मृत्यु सूचना, not aware of or not informed about something, oblivious, बेखबर not clearly expressed or easily understood, obscure, अस्पष्ट a place equipped for observing celestial bodies, observatory. Vedshala na intense and unhealthy fixation on something, obsession, अत्यधिक लगाव the state of becoming outdated or no longer used, obsolescence, अप्रचलन becoming outdated or passing out of use. Obsolescent, अप्रचलन होता हुआ something no longer in use, obsolete, अप्रचलित relating to the countries of the West, Occidental, पश्चिमी देशों से संबंधित a geometrical figure with 8 sides. Octagon, आधा षट भ पे छोटे ऊ की मात्रा जड़ a person who is between 80 and 89 years old, octogenarian, 80 से 89 वर्ष की आयु वाला व्यक्ति an 8-armed sea creature, octopus, 8 भुजाओं वाला समुद्री जीव a doctor who specializes in the diseases of the eye, oculist, नेत्र विशेषज्ञ a long adventurous journey marked by many changes of fortune, odyssey, लंबी और रोमांचक यात्रा and excessive or obsessive craving. For wine or alcoholic drinks, enomania, शराब की लत not quite coinciding with a central position, off center, केंद्र से हटा हुआ a form of government by a small group of people, oligarchy. अल्पतंत्र, कुछ लोगों का शासन, a person who investigates and helps settle public complaints, ombudsman, लोक शिकायत अधिकारी suggesting that something unpleasant is likely to happen, ominous, अशुभ. संकेत देने वाला a volume containing several books previously published separately, omnibus, संकलन ग्रंथ having unlimited power, omnipotent, सर्वशक्तिमान present everywhere, omnipresent. सर्वव्यापी knowing everything, omniscient, सर्वज्ञानी. An animal or person that eats both plants and meat, omnivore, sarvahari jeev eating both plants and meat, omnivorous, sarvahari that through which light cannot pass, opaque, apardarshi and extreme. Fear of snakes, ophidiophobia, सांपों का डर the study of snakes, ophiology, सांपों का अध्ययन a doctor who specializes in the diseases of the eyes, ophthalmologist, नेत्र विशेषज्ञ one who is stubborn about holding to one's own opinions, opinionated, हठधर्मी. अपने विचारों पर दृढ़ public disgrace arising from shameful conduct, opprobrium, सार्वजनिक निंदा one who sees the bright side of things, optimist, आशावादी a musical composition. Especially one on a large scale, opus, कृति, संगीत रचना a formal speech. Especially one given on a ceremonial occasion, oration, bhashan a proficient public speaker, orator, kushal vakta a piece of land or garden in which fruit trees are grown, orchard, फलदार पेड़ों का. Baag a large body of people playing various musical instruments, orchestra, वाद्य यंत्र बजाने वाले संगीतकारों का समूह a very unpleasant a difficult experience, ordeal, कठिन और कष्टदायक अनुभव in. Opening or hole. Particularly one in the body such as a nostril, orifice, छिद्र person who studies birds, ornithologist, पक्षी विशेषज्ञ the scientific study of birds, ornithology, पक्षी विज्ञान the branch of geography that studies mountains and their formation, orography, पर्वतों का अध्ययन the study of mountains, orology, पर्वतों का अध्ययन a child whose parents are dead, orphan, अनाथ public. Institution for the care and protection of children without parents, orphanage, anathalaya holding conventional beliefs. Especially in matters of religion, orthodox, रूढ़िवादी the branch of medicine dealing with bone disorders, orthopedics, हड्डियों से संबंधित चिकित्सा a doctor who treats bone disorders. Orthopedist, हड्डी रोग विशेषज्ञ to make or become like a bone, ossify, हड्डी जैसा कठोर हो जाना a person who looks after horses at an inn, ostler, घोड़ों की देखभाल करने वाला to banish or turn out. Of society and fellowship, ostracize, बहिष्कृत करना to be more successful than someone, outdo, किसी से बेहतर करना. Looking or sounding bizarre, strange, or unfamiliar, outlandish, अजीब और अनोखा, a person who has broken the law. Especially one who remains at large or is a fugitive, outlaw, नियम विरोधी, the extent of involvement with or influence in the community, outreach, पहुंच, the ongoing expenses of operating a business that are not directly related to production, overhead, संचालन खर्च, to fail to notice something or to let a fault go unpunished, overlook, अंधेरी करना, to have a strong emotional effect on someone. Overwhelm, अभिभूत करना, pertaining to sheep, ovine, भेड़ से संबंधित, the belief that war and violence are unjustified. Pacifism, शांतिवाद, a person who opposes war or use of military force, pacifist. शांतिवादी, a group of wolves. A set of 52 playing cards, pack, भेड़ियों का झुंड. ताश की गड्डी, a formal agreement between two or more nations or peoples, pact, समझौता, a doctor who treats children's diseases, pediatrician, बच्चों का चिकित्सक, the study of ancient writings in scriptures, paleography, प्राचीन लिपियों का अध्ययन, a person who studies fossils, paleontologist, जीवाश्मों का अध्ययन करने वाला, a word that reads the same backwards as forwards, palindrome, ऐसा शब्द जो आगे और पीछे दोनों तरफ से एक जैसा हो, temporary relief from pain or suffering without curing the cause, palliation, अस्थायी राहत, able to be felt or touched, palpable, स्पर्शनीय, a solution for all difficulties or diseases, panacea, रामबाण इलाज, a disease that spreads over a whole country or the whole world, pandemic, महामारी, a state of wild and noisy disorder, pandemonium, कोलाहल, to gratify an immoral or distasteful desire, panda, बुरी इच्छाओं को पूरा करना, a speech or writing that praises someone excessively, panegyric, अत्यधिक प्रशंसा, sudden, uncontrollable, fear or anxiety, often causing wildly unthinking behavior, panic, आतंक, भगदड़, a wide uninterrupted view, panorama, विस्तृत दृश्य, to breathe hard and with difficulty, पंथ, हाफना, the belief that God is in everything, including nature, pantheism, सर्वेश्वरवाद, a person who believes that God is present in all things in nature, pantheist, सर्वेश्वरवादी, a temple dedicated to all the gods, pantheon, सर्वदेवालय, a small room or cupboard for storing food, dishes and kitchen utensils, pantry, rasoi bhandar, photographers who aggressively pursue celebrities to take their pictures, paparazzi, celebrity का पीछा करने वाले photographer, a story told to illustrator, moral or spiritual truth, parable, नीति कथा, a statement that appears self-contradictory yet may be true, paradox, विरोधाभासी परंतु सत्य कथन, one who lives or survives on others or other lives, parasite, परजीवी, to boil food briefly or partially, parboil, अधपका उबालना, a person who is rejected and avoided by society, पराय, समाज से बहिष्कृत व्यक्ति, having a limited or narrow outlook or scope, parochial, संकीर्ण सोच वाला, the early release of a prisoner on condition of good behavior, parole, सशर्त रिहाई, the crime of killing one's father, mother, or close relative, parricide, माता पिता या निकट संबंधी की हत्या, one who has suddenly become rich but lacks social grace, parvenu, नया अमीर व्यक्ति, जिसमें शिष्टाचार की कमी हो, the sole right to make and sell an invention, patent, आविष्कार पर विशेष अधिकार, the scientific study of diseases, pathology, रोग विज्ञान, a system of society or government in which men hold power and women are largely excluded from it, patriarchy, पुरुष प्रधान व्यवस्था, the killing of one's own father, patricide, पे छोटी ई की मात्रा त पे री की मात्रा ह आधा त य पे आ की मात्रा relating to inheritance or descent through the male line. Patrilineal, पितृवंशीय. Property that is given to somebody when his father dies. Patrimony, पैतृक संपत्ति, a person who loves. Supports and defends his country. Patriot, देशभक्त, to go around an area to keep a watch. Patrol, गश्त लगाना. पहरा करना, one who has no money or means of livelihood. Pauper, कंगाल, concerning or consisting of money. Pecuniary, धन संबंधी, the method and practice of teaching. Pedagogy, शिक्षा शास्त्रे. Person who is excessively concerned with minor details or formal rules. Pedant, छोटी छोटी गलतियों या नियमों पर जोर देने वाला. व्यक्ति, excessively concerned with minor details or formalisms. Pedantic, छोटी छोटी गलतियों या नियमों पर जोर देने वाला. स्वभाव, a person who walks on foot rather than traveling in a vehicle. Pedestrian, पैदल यात्री, a doctor who treats children. Pediatrician. बच्चों का डॉक्टर, the branch of medicine concerned with children in their illnesses. Pediatrics, बाल चिकित्सा, a punishment imposed for breaking a law. Rule or contract. Penalty, जुर्माना, a special fondness or liking for something. Penchant, विशेष रुचि, a small ornament which hangs down especially from a necklace. Pendant, गले की हार का locket, to move into or through something. Penetrate, भीतर प्रवेश करना, a large mass of land projecting into a body of water. Peninsula, प्रायद्वीप, the state of feeling sorry for wrongdoing. Penitence, पश्चाताप. Deep in thought. Pensive, विचारमग्न, one who quickly understands and responds to situations. Perceptive, सूझबूझ वाला, lasting for an indefinitely long time. Perennial, सदाबहार, a deliberate breach of faith or betrayal of trust. Perfidy, विश्वासघात, done as a routine but without interest. Perfunctory, बेमन से किया गया, a structure in the garden where climbing plants can grow and people can walk under. Pergola, छाया करने या पौधों के चढ़ने के लिए बनाया गया ढांचा, continuing for a long period of time without interruption. Lasting forever or indefinitely. Perpetual, निरंतर, confused or puzzled. Perplexed, व्याकुल. उलझन में, an additional benefit or privilege given to an employee beyond their salary. Perquisite, अतिरिक्त लाभ, विशेषाधिकार, to subject someone to hostility or ill treatment. Especially for their beliefs. Persecute, सताना. अत्याचार करना, constant effort to achieve something. Perseverance, निरंतर प्रयत्न, the people employed in an organization or engaged in a service. Personnel, कर्मचारी वर्ग, careful reading or examination. Perusal, ध्यानपूर्वक अध्ययन, a person who tends to see the worst aspect of situations. Pessimist, निराशावादी, a substance used for killing pests. Pesticide, कीटनाशक, morally harmful or spreading evil influence. Pestiferous, दुष्प्रभावकारी, a stick with a thick end used in a mortar for pounding. Pestle, musal, a long wooden seat with a back for people to sit on in a church. Pew. गिरजाघर का bench, a place where you can buy medicines. Pharmacy, दवाखाना, an observable fact or event. Phenomenon, घटना, a person who always runs after women. Philanderer, इश्कबाज, a person who loves mankind and donates money and time to help others. Philanthropist, मानव प्रेमी. परोपकारी, love for mankind shown by donating money and time. Philanthropy, मानव प्रेम. परोपकार, a person who collects or studies stamps. Philatelist, डाक टिकट संग्रहकर्ता, the collection and study of postage stamps. Philately, डाक टिकट संग्रह या अध्ययन, a person who lacks interest in art, culture, or refined ideas. Philistine, कला संस्कृति के प्रति उदासीन व्यक्ति, a person who likes or admires women. Philologist, स्त्री प्रेमी, the study of languages. Philology, भ पे आ की मात्रा श पे आ की मात्रा श पे आ की मात्रा आधा स आधा त र one who loves wisdom and pursues it, philosopher, दार्शनिक in intense and irrational fear of something, phobia, अत्यधिक और असामान्य भय the study and classification of sound, phonetics, ध्वनि विज्ञान a doctor who specializes in general medicine and not surgery, physician, चिकित्सक the study of the functions of the human body, physiology, शरीर विज्ञान the treatment of disease or injury through physical exercises and massage, physiotherapy, भौतिक चिकित्सा a place where pigs are kept, pigsty, sty, सुअर रखने की जगह a large number of things placed one on top of another, pile, ढेर the act of stealing something in small quantities, pilfaraj, छोटी चोरी a seat for a passenger on a bicycle or motorbike, pillion, पीछे की seat one who is among the first to explore or develop something. Pioneer, नई राह दिखाने वाला a person who attacks and robs ships at sea, pirate, समुद्री डाकू. अवैध नकल करने वाला illegally copied without the owner's permission, pirated, अवैध रूप से नकल किया हुआ feeding on fish, piscivorous, मछली खाने वाला playing a crucial role, pivotal, महत्वपूर्ण to make someone less angry a hostile, placate, शांत करना an inactive substance given for psychological benefit rather than medical effect, placebo, मानसिक सुकून देने वाली नकली दवा not easily excited, or upset, placid, शांत to use another person's ideas or work as one's own, plagiarize, साहित्यिक चोरी करना the act of using another person's ideas or work as one's own, plagiarism, साहित्यिक चोरी. One who uses another person's ideas or work as one's own, plagiarist, साहित्यिक चोर a person who brings a case against another in a court of law, plaintiff, मुकदमा करने वाला a flat metal or porcelain plate fixed on a wall as an ornament or memorial, plaque, दीवार पर लगी सजावटी या स्मारक पट्टी seeming reasonable or probable, plausible, विश्वसनीय लगने वाला a decision made by public. Voting, plebiscite, जनमत संग्रह a solemn promise or undertaking, pledge, प्रतिज्ञा the state of being full or complete, plenitude, प्रचुरता capable of being bent or shaped easily without breaking. Pliable, लचीला one who repairs leaking water pipes, plumber, नल ठीक करने वाला व्यक्ति a government by the richest people of a country, plutocracy, धनी लोगों का शासन a speaker's platform, podium. Munch a speaker's platform, podium. Munch evoking a keen sense of sadness or regret, poignant, marmic graceful and balanced behavior, poise, santulan. Shalinta pertaining to controversy, polemical, vivadatmak the science or art of governing a country or area, politics, rajniti the practice of having more than one husband at the same time. Polyandry, bahupati pratha a person who has more than one spouse at the same time, polygamist, bahuvivahi the practice of having more than one spouse at the same time, polygamy, bahuvivaha pratha a person who can speak several languages, polyglot, bahubhashi a flat shape with three or more straight sides and angles, polygon, bahubhuj a person who is skilled in many areas, polymath, अनेक विषयों में विद्वान व्यक्ति one who believes in many gods, polytheist, बहुदेववादी to think carefully and thoroughly about something, ponder, गंभीरता से विचार करना full of people, populous, घनी आबादी वाला a place where ships load and unload goods, port, बंदरगाह something that can be carried easily, portable, आसानी से साथ ले जाने योग्य a collection of documents or works showing a person's abilities or achievements, portfolio, दस्तावेज संग्रह. occurring, awarded, or appearing after someone's death, posthumous, maranopарant a medical examination of a dead body, postmortem, शवपरीक्षा to delay an event to a later date or time, postpone, स्थगित करना a note. Appended to a letter after the signature, postscript, पत्र के अंत में हस्ताक्षर के बाद लिखा गया अतिरिक्त संदेश safe or suitable for drinking, potable, पीने योग्य liquid with healing, magical or poisonous properties, potion, औषधीय या जादुई तरल a mixture of dried flowers and leaves used for making a room smell pleasant, potpourri, सुगंधित सूखे फूलों का मिश्रण, विविध वस्तुओं का संग्रह the actual application of an idea, belief, or method, practice, amal. प्रयोग dealing with things in a practical and sensible way, pragmatic, व्यवहारिक one who values practicality, pragmatist, व्यवहारिक सोच वाला uncertain and risky, precarious, अनिश्चित और जोखिम भरा a previous case that might serve as an example or guide in subsequent situations, precedent, मिसाल. पूर्व निर्णय a very steep or overhanging rock face or cliff on a mountain, precipice, खड़ी चट्टान a short version of a written text with only the main points, précis, किसी लेख का छोटा सारण. Animal that lives by killing and eating other animals, predator, शिकारी जानवर. परभक्षी a person who held a position before the current holder, predecessor, पूर्ववर्ती to say or estimate that something will happen in the future, predict, पूर्वानुमान करना a special liking or preference for something, predilection, विशेष लगाव या रुझान an introduction to a book. Especially one that explains the author's aims, preface, prastavna having a bias against others, prejudiced, pakshapatpurn an action or event that happens before another important one and forms an introduction to it, prelude, prastavna. Bhumika the first public performance of a musical or theatrical work or the first showing of a film. Premiere, pratham pradarshan a strong feeling that something is about to happen. Especially something unpleasant, premonition, purvabhas to recommend or order a medicine or treatment. Prescribe, dawa likhna an assumption made without proof, presumption, anuman, bina pramanman. Lena, trying to appear more important or valuable than one really is, pretentious, dikhavati. Adambarpurn to make evasive or misleading statements instead of telling the truth, prevaricate, सीधा जवाब न देकर टालना a group of lions, pride, शेरों का समूह right or advantage available to a person, privilege, विशेषाधिकार a person working on a trial period, probationer, प्रशिक्षु, नया कर्मचारी, to put off doing something. Especially out of habitual carelessness or laziness. Procrastinate, टालना the habit of delaying things. Procrastination, टालमटोल spending money freely and wastefully. Prodigal, फिजूल खर्च करने वाला a person. Especially a young one. With exceptional abilities, prodigy, विलक्षण प्रतिभा संपन्न व्यक्ति a high degree of skill, proficiency, निपुणता a general outline of a person's character or background, profile, बाह्य रूपरेखा. Recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources, profligate, atapviyi working class people regarded collectively, proletariat, shramik varg to increase rapidly in number or spread. Proliferate, तेजी से बढ़ना या फैलना a rapid increase in the number or amount of something, proliferation, प्रसार. फैलाव an introduction to a literary work, prologue, prastavna continuing for a long time, prolonged, दीर्घकालीन a piece of wood, metal, etc. Used for supporting something or keeping it in position, prop, take. Sahara biased or misleading information used to promote a political cause or point of view, propaganda, राजनीतिक फायदे वाली पक्षपाती जानकारी, a person sent by God to teach the people and give them messages from God, prophet, पैगंबर, ईश्वरदूत, the force that drives or pushes something forward, propulsion, आगे बढ़ाने वाला बल to officially forbid something. Especially by law, prescribe, प्रतिबंधित करना, a person who has been converted to another religious or political belief, proselyte, धर्मांतरित व्यक्ति, the central character in a story or play. Protagonist, नायक, a system of fixed rules and formal behavior used at official meetings. Protocol, नियमों की प्रणाली, the first design of something from which other forms are copied or developed. Prototype, नमूना, a dry food for livestock. Provender, पशु चारा, narrow-mindedness or concern for one's own region at the expense of broader views. Provincialism, प्रांतीयता, a person who moves stealthily about or loiters near a place with a view to committing a crime. Prowler, दबे पांव घूमने वाला संदिग्ध व्यक्ति, one who studies election trends by means of opinion polls. Psophologist, चुनाव विश्लेषक, the study of elections and voting patterns. Psophology, चुनाव विश्लेषण, a false name used by an author instead of their real one. Pseudonym, उपनाम, one who studies the mind and behavior. Psychologist, मनोवैज्ञानिक, the scientific study of the mind and behavior. Psychology, मनोविज्ञान, physical beauty, especially of a person. Pulchritude, शारीरिक सुंदरता, very careful about details and correct behavior. Punctilious, बारीकी से काम करने वाला, having a sharply strong taste or smell. Pungent, तीखा, a person who gambles, places a bet, or makes a risky investment. Punter, जुआरी, to make a low continuous vibratory sound expressing contentment. As a cat does, purr, घुरघुराना, बिल्ली की संतुष्टि की आवाज. To follow or chase, pursue, पीछे लगे रहना, weak and cowardly. Pusillanimous, काया, डरपोक, to decay with a foul smell. Putrefy, सड़ना, obsessive desire to set fire to things. Pyromania, आग लगाने का पागलपन, an extreme fear of fire. Pyrophobia, आग का भय, the sound made by ducks. A person who pretends to have more knowledge than he actually possesses. Quack, बत्तख की आवाज. झोलाछाप, doctor, a court or open space, usually rectangular, enclosed by a building. Quadrangle, चतुर्भुजाकार प्रांगण, a creature with 4 feet. Quadruped, चौपाया, to reject as invalid, especially by legal procedure. Quash, रद्द करना, to shake or tremble in voice. Quaver, थरथराना, a search for something. Quest, खोज, changing quickly and unpredictably. Quicksilver, अस्थिर, पारे की तरह बदलने वाला, a feather used as a pen. Quill, पंख की कलम, occurring once every 5 years. Quinquennial, पंचवार्षिक, to the utmost or most absolute extent or degree. Quite, पूर्ण रूप से, unrealistically optimistic or idealistic. Quixotic, ख्याली, अवास्तविक, the minimum number of people needed for a meeting. Quorum, न्यूनतम उपस्थिति, a person who is good at telling stories in an interesting and amusing way. Raconteur, मज़ेदार कहानियाँ सुनाने वाला, the act of spreading outward from a central source. Radiation, विकिरण, a person who advocates complete political or social change. Radical, उग्र सुधारवादी, a doctor who specializes in diagnosing diseases using X-rays, CT scans, and imaging. Radiologist, विकिरण चिकित्सा विशेषज्ञ, the science dealing with X-rays and other high-energy waves for diagnosing and treating diseases. Radiology, विकिरण चिकित्सा विज्ञान, speaking at length about trivial things. Rambling, इधर उधर की बातें करने वाला, a complex or unwanted consequence of an action. Ramification, अनचाहे परिणाम, to go through an area making a lot of noise and causing damage. Rampage, उत्पात मचाना, having a stale smell or taste. rancid, badbudar. Sada hua characterized by bitterness or resentment, rancorous, shatrutapurna sum of money demanded for the release of a prisoner, ransom, firoti greedy for money, rapacious, ati lobhi the. Reasons or intentions behind a particular set of beliefs or actions, rationale, tarksangat karan a reduction in tax or debt, rebate, shoot one who opposes or takes arms against a government or ruler. Rebel, vidrohi to withdraw a statement or belief publicly, recant, mukar jana a hollow object used to contain something, receptacle, patra to give and receive mutually, reciprocate, badle mein. Karna a person who lives alone and avoids other people, recluse, ekantvasi preferring to live alone and avoid other people, reclusive, ekantpriya to set right what is wrong or inaccurate, rectify. Sudharna moving in or formed by straight lines, rectilinear, सीधी रेखाओं वाला happening repeatedly, recurrent, बारंबार होने वाला a process involving too much official formality, red tapeism. लाल फीताशाही, अत्यधिक औपचारिकता, that which is no longer useful, redundant, अनावश्यक a direct vote by citizens on a specific political issue or policy, referendum, janmat sangraha and involuntary. Action under a stimulus, reflex, anaichchik pratikriya a person who works for gradual changes to improve a system, reformer, sudharak the belief in bringing about gradual changes to improve a system. Reformism, sudharvad a person forced to leave their country due to war. Persecution, or danger, refugee, sharnarthi the emblems and symbols of royalty, dress with medals and ribbons worn at official ceremonies, regalia, Raja Chinha, Padvi Chinha. Padak the killing of a king, regicide, Rajhatya to restore someone to health or normal life after imprisonment, addiction. Or illness, rehabilitate, Purv Dasha mein lana to make someone look or feel younger, rejuvenate, फिर से जवान बना देना to fall back into a worse state after an improvement, relapse, पूर्व दशा में आ जाना a holy person's remains or belongings kept for reverence. Something surviving from an earlier period, relic, avshesh unwilling or hesitant to do something, reluctant, anichchuk to send back a criminal into custody for further investigation, remand. न्यायिक हिरासत में वापस भेजना the act of recalling past experiences with fondness, reminiscence, संस्मरण cancellation of a penalty or debt, remission, dand ya rin maafi a deep feeling of guilt and regret, remorse, paschatap the amount paid to a person for their work, remuneration, parishramik artistic. Musical, or dramatic interpretation, rendition, prastutikaran one who deserts their principles or party, renegade, dalbadalu vyakti to restore something to a better condition, renovate, navinikaran karna the. Return of someone to their own country, repatriation, swadesh vapsi the feeling of sincere regret for one's sins, repentance, pachtawa to fill up again, replenish, fir se bharna an exact or very close copy of something, replica, nakal a temporary delay or suspension of punishment. Especially a death sentence, reprieve, saja par asthai rok a cold-blooded vertebrate animal such as a snake, lizard. Or crocodile, reptile, sarisrip, रेंगने वाला जंतु, causing a strong dislike, repulsive, घिनौना a mass held to pray for the peace of the departed soul, requiem, मृतक के लिए प्रार्थना सभा one who is silent or uncommunicative in speech, reserved, कम बोलने वाला. Sankochi a large natural or artificial lake used as a source of water supply, reservoir, Jalashaya the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effects, resilience, कठिनाइयों से उबरने की क्षमता, लचीलापन. able to recover quickly from difficulties or setbacks, resilient, विपरीत परिस्थितियों से जल्दी उबरने वाला, the process by means of which plants and animals breathe, respiration, श्वसन, short period of rest or relief from penalty or obligation, respite, अस्थायी राहत, दंडस्थगन, to return the same sort of attack, retaliate, बदला लेना, unwilling to speak about one's thoughts or feelings, reticent, कम बोलने वाला, to go back over the same route that one has just taken, retrace, उसी रास्ते पर वापस जाना, to withdraw from a forward position in battle, retreat, पीछे हटना, the action of reviewing past events in one's life, retrospection, पिछली घटनाओं का पुनरावलोकन, to renovate or improve, revamp, नया रूप देना, a tune that is played to wake soldiers in the morning, reveille, जगाने का बिगुल, to take great pleasure in something, revel, आनंद लेना, feeling or showing deep and solemn respect, reverent, श्रद्धापूर्ण, state of absent-minded daydreaming, reverie, दिवास्वप्न, ख्याली दुनिया, to criticize in an abusive or angrily insulting manner, revile, गाली देना, the art of persuasive speaking or writing, rhetoric, वापटुता, दिखावटी भाषा, a specialist in diseases of the nose, rhinologist, नाक के रोगों में विशेषज्ञ, a scale used for measuring the strength of an earthquake, Richter scale, भूकंप की तीव्रता मापने का पैमाना, to subject to mockery or derision, ridicule, उपहास करना, hard and difficult to bend, rigid, dryl, कठोर, a solemn religious act, rite, रीति रिवाज, धार्मिक संस्कार, a circular building or hall with a dome structure, rotunda, गोल घर थे, broken remains of a building or structure, ruin, खंडहर, the deliberate destruction of something for military or political advantage, sabotage, तोड़फोड़, the violation or misuse of something regarded as sacred, sacrilege, अपवित्रीकरण, deriving pleasure from inflicting pain, sadistic, दूसरों को पीड़ा देकर, आनंद लेने वाला, a place of safety or refuge, safe haven, सुरक्षित ठिकाना, a detailed account of a series of real or fictional events over a long period, saga, गाथा, the quality of being particularly noticeable, salience, प्रमुखता, विशेषता, a simultaneous firing of many guns to mark an occasion, salvo, फौजी सलामी, one who helps a person in need, Samaritan, दूसरों की निस्वार्थ सहायता करने वाला, the clandestine copying and distribution of literature banned by the state, samizdat, प्रतिबंधित साहित्य की नकल और वितरण, a place of good climate for invalids, sanatorium, आरोग्य निवास, the state or quality of being holy, sanctity, पवित्रता, a protected place or nature reserve for birds and animals, sanctuary, abhyaranya, a sacred place, sanctum, पवित्र स्थल involving or causing much bloodshed, sanguinary, रक्तपातपूर्ण, optimistic in an apparently difficult situation, sanguine, आशावादी, the use of irony to mock or convey contempt, sarcasm, कटाक्षपूर्ण व्यंग्य, the use of humor, irony, or exaggeration to criticize or mock, satire, हास्य व्यंग्य, to taste good food or drink and enjoy it to the full, savor, स्वाद लेना, a sheath for the blade of a sword, scabbard, म्यान, an event or action that brings bad reputation to somebody, scandal, कलंकपूर्ण कृत्य, barely sufficient or adequate, scant, अपर्याप्त, a person who is blamed for the wrongdoings of others, scapegoat, बलि का बकरा, the state of being in short supply, scarcity, abhav, a person who is forgetful, disorganized, and unable to concentrate, scatterbrain, asthir man wala, to search for and collect anything usable from discarded waste, scavenge, कूड़े में उपयोगी चीज ढूंढना, a person who habitually doubts accepted beliefs, skeptic, Sandehwadi, an ornamented staff carried by rulers on ceremonial occasions, is a symbol of authority. Scepter, Rajdand, Satta ki chhadi. A plan of what is to be done and when. Schedule, Samay Sarani, a formal split within a religious organization. Schism, Dharmik Sangathan mein foot, a grant or payment to support a student's education. Scholarship, Chhatravritti, a group of fish. School, Machliyon ka jhund, sparkling. Brilliantly lively and exciting, scintillating, chamakdar or atyant rochak, a set of 20, score, 20 ka ek set, aloud, harsh. Piercing cry, screech, cheek, a person who writes screenplays. Scriptwriter, Patkatha Lekhak, a small room where dishes are washed. Scullery, Bartan manjne ki jagah, a person who carves or shapes figures out of stone. Clay, etc. Sculptor, Murtikar, making false and damaging claims about someone to harm their reputation. Scurrilous, Apmanjanak. Abhadra, not connected with religious or spiritual matters. Secular, Dharm nirpeksh, a drug or other substance that induces sleep. Sedative, Shant karne ya neend lane wali dawa, marked by care and persistent effort. Sedulous, Parishrami, a person who can foresee future events. Seer, Bhavishyavakta, an instrument for detecting and recording earthquakes. Seismograph, Bhukamp Suchak yantra the. Scientific study of earthquakes. Seismology, Bhukamp Vigyan, to take hold of something suddenly and forcibly. Seize, Kabza karna, a meeting for discussion or training on a specific topic. Seminar. Vishesh Vishay par Goshti, showing the weaknesses or diseases of old age. Especially dementia, senile, Budhape ke karan sathiyaya hua, aware of and able to understand other people in their feelings. Sensitive, Samvedansheel, a person between the ages of 70 and 79. Septuagenarian, 70 se 79 varsh ka vyakti, a place of burial. Sepulchre, kabr ya samadhi, the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Serendipity, akasmik labh. Occurring in a sequence or order. Serial, anukramik, rearing of silkworms. Sericulture, Resham Keet Palan, a place where snakes are kept. Serpentarium, Saap rakhne ki jagah, using very long and difficult words. Sesquipedalian, lambe lambe shabdon ka prayog karne wala, to cut or break off from something. Sever, kaatkar alag karna, a person between the ages of 60 and 69. Sexagenarian, 60 se 69 varsh ka. Manushya, a vertical passageway into a mine. Shaft, Khadan ka lambavat marg, a close-fitting cover for the blade of a sword or knife. Sheath, Myan, a device used to guard and protect from danger or attack. Shield, Dhal, a large number of fish swimming together. Shoal, Machliyon ka jhund, fragments scattered by an exploding bomb or shell. Shrapnel, Visfot se ude dhatu ke tukade, showing astute powers of judgment. Clever and judicious, shrewd, chatur, to deliberately avoid someone or something. Shan, janbujhkar parhez karna, talna. A vehicle that travels back and forth between two places. Shuttle, avagaman karne wala vahan, a short rest or sleep taken after lunch. Siesta, dopeher ka aram, the dark shape and outline of something visible against a bright background. Silhouette, Chaya akriti, a figure of speech. Comparing two unlike things using like, or, as, simile. Upma alankar, happening at exactly the same time. Simultaneous, ek hi samay par hone wala, an office with high salary but no work. Sinecure. Aram ki naukri, a large fixed container to wash hands or utensils. Sink, Haath ya bartan dhone ka patra, the internal or external framework of bones supporting a body. Skeleton, Kankal, to reduce or decrease in speed or intensity. Slacken, Dima par jana, false and defamatory. Slanderous, badnami wala to have saliva dripping copiously from the mouth. Slobber, lar tapkana a given space. Time or position, slot, nirdharit sthan, samay ya pad to kill someone by covering their nose and mouth, so that they suffocate, smother, dabana. Gala ghotna a person who believes they are superior to others and looks down on those they consider inferior. Snob, ghamandi warm, comfortable. And cozy, snug, aramdayak a person who studies human societies. Sociologist, Samajshastri the study and classification of human societies. Sociology, Samajshastra a brief or short stay at a place. Sojourn, थोड़े दिन का निवास a room used for sunbathing or light-based therapy. Solarium, प्रकाश चिकित्सा का कमरा a grammatical mistake or improper use of language. Solecism, व्याकरण की गलती. शिष्टाचार का उल्लंघन one who talks to themselves. Soliloquist, अपने आप से बातें करने वाला a speech in which a person talks to themselves. Especially in a play, soliloquy, स्वयं से बोला गया संवाद the state of being alone. Especially when one finds it pleasant, solitude, एकांत being able to pay one's debts, solvent, अपने ऋण चुकाने में समर्थ the act or habit of walking in sleep, somnambulism, नींद में चलने की आदत. One who walks in sleep, somnambulist, नींद में चलने वाला one who talks in sleep, somniloquist, नींद में बोलने वाला the act or habit of talking in one's sleep, somniloquy, नींद में बोलने की आदत है. 14-line poem, sonnet, 14 लाइन की कविता a drug or substance that induces sleep, soporific, नींद लाने वाला, दवा. A type of magic in which spirits, especially evil ones, are used to make things happen. Sorcery, जादू टोना the killing of one's sister. Sororicide, बहन की हत्या something kept as a reminder of an event. Souvenir, निशानी a person who has supreme power. Or authority, sovereign, सर्वोच्च शासक a sudden involuntary muscular contraction. Spasm, ethan a small amount of something that shows what the rest of it is like. Specimen, namuna the forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. Speculation, anuman the study of caves. Speleology, गुफाओं का अध्ययन one who spends money recklessly. Spendthrift, खर्चीला an old unmarried woman. Spinster, अधिक उम्र की अविवाहित महिला revealing of crucial details of a film's plot. Spoiler, कहानी का रहस्य पहले बता देने वाला one who speaks on behalf of others. Spokesperson, pravakta. Performed or occurring as a result of a sudden impulse. Spontaneous, स्वतः होने वाला occurring at irregular intervals. Sporadic, छिटपुट, कभी कभार होने वाला, not being what it purports to be. Spurious, jali. Nakli a noisy argument about trivial matters. Squabble, छोटी बातों पर झगड़ा to walk unsteadily as if about to fall. Stagger, लड़खड़ाना not fresh. Stale, basi a sudden rush of a large number of frightened people or animals. Stampede, आकस्मिक भगदड़ in upright bar. Post, or frame forming a support or barrier. Stanchion, स्तंभ a formal account or record of facts. Statement, औपचारिक विवरण या घोषणा attractively tall, graceful. And dignified in appearance, statuesque, sudol the existing state of affairs at a particular time. Status quo, वर्तमान स्थिति, यथास्थिति. A written law passed by a legislative body. Statute. Kanun not able to produce children. Sterile, banj one who loads and unloads ships. Stevedore, jahaji kuli a person who endures pain or hardship without showing feelings or complaining. Stoic. Sukh dukh में समान रहने वाला the quality of enduring pain or hardship without showing feelings or complaining. Stoicism, सुख दुख में समान रहने का भाव a short stay made during a longer journey. Stopover, yatra में रुकना, a room where goods are kept, storeroom. Bhandar Kaksh, one who hides on a ship to obtain a free passage. Stowaway, छिपकर यात्रा करने वाला, left in a difficult situation. Without help, stranded, मंझधार में फंसना, असहाय छोड़ दिया जाना. A government by the military class, stratocracy, सैन्य वर्ग का शासन, a mental or emotional strain caused by demanding circumstances. Stress, मानसिक या भावनात्मक दबाव, affected by an undesirable condition or unpleasant feeling. Stricken, पीड़ित, adhering closely to a particular set of rules. Strict, नियमों के प्रति सख्त, angry और. Bitter disagreement over fundamental issues. Strife, विवाद, to speak with continued involuntary repetition of sound. Stutter, हकलाना, a written order to attend a court of law to give evidence. Subpoena, न्यायालय में उपस्थिति का आदेश. Summon, to pay money to use a product or service regularly. Subscribe, ग्राहक बनना. सदस्यता लेना, too willing to obey other people. Subservient, अत्यधिक आज्ञाकारी, चापलूसीपूर्ण. The bare minimum needed for survival. Subsistence, जीवित रहने लायक न्यूनतम साधन, existing under थे. Earth's surface, subterranean, भूमिगत, so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. Subtle, सूक्ष्म, compact and precise. Succinct, संक्षिप्त और स्पष्ट, having juicy or fleshy. And thick tissues. Succulent, रसीला, the right to vote in political elections. Suffrage, मताधिकार, the action of killing oneself intentionally. Suicide, आत्महत्या, a proceeding in a law court. Suite, मुकदमा, a set of rooms. Especially in a hotel. For the use of one person or family. Suite, होटल में कमरों का समूह, a brief account of a subject. Summary, सारांश, splendid and expensive looking. Sumptuous, आलीशान, a pension paid to a retired. Employ, superannuation, सेवानिवृत्ति, pension only on the surface of something. Superficial, ऊपरी, of the highest degree or quality. Superlative, सबसे उच्च स्तर का, speed greater than that of sound. Supersonic, पराध्वनिक, ध्वनि की गति से तेज, the belief that particular events happen in a way that cannot be explained by reason or science. Superstition, अंधविश्वास. To ask or beg for something earnestly or humbly. Supplicate, विनती करना, the state of being the most powerful. Supremacy, सर्वोच्चता, a sudden and powerful forward or upward movement. Surge, उछाल. तेजी से वृद्धि, an amount of something that is more than required. Surplus, अधिकता, the act of giving up completely, especially in favor of another. Surrender, आत्मसमर्पण, done secretly. Especially because it would not be approved of. Surreptitious, चोरी छिपे किया गया, a person who is believed to be involved in a crime. Suspect, संदिग्ध, व्यक्ति. A person's last performance. Swan. Song, अंतिम प्रदर्शन, a collection of bees. Swarm, मधुमक्खियों का झुंड, a person who is fond of luxury and sensual pleasures. Sybarite, विलासी व्यक्ति, one who flatters others excessively. Sycophant, चापलूस, a part of a word that can be pronounced separately. Syllable, शब्दांश, a reasoning method involving two statements from which a conclusion is reached. Syllogism, न्यायवाक्य, a long and elaborate musical composition written for a full orchestra. A harmonious combination of sounds. Symphony, सामूहिक वाद्य संगीत रचना. स्वरों का मधुर सामंजस्य, a building where Jews meet for religious worship and teaching. Synagogue, यहूदियों का प्रार्थना भवन, a word having the same meaning as another word. Synonym, समानार्थक शब्द. Made of artificial substance or material. Synthetic, कृत्रिम, a forbidden or socially unacceptable practice. Taboo, वर्जित, showing poor taste and quality. Tacky, घटिया of or connected with थे. Sense of touch, tactile, स्पर्श संबंधी, the young one of a frog. tadpole, मेढक का बच्चा something that can be seen and touched, tangible, जो देखा या छुआ जा सके, a rough. Violent, troublesome person, tartar, उग्र स्वभाव का व्यक्ति, a permanent design or mark made on the skin with ink, tattoo, त्वचा पर गोदना, the practice of saying the same thing twice using different words. Tautology, अलग अलग शब्दों में एक ही बात दोहराना, a person who preserves and mounts dead animals for display. Taxidermist, मृत जानवरों को संरक्षित व प्रदर्शित करने वाला, the art of preserving and mounting dead animals for display. Taxidermy, मृत जानवरों को संरक्षित व प्रदर्शित करने की कला. The science of classification, taxonomy, वर्गीकरण का विज्ञान, a person who never takes alcoholic drinks. Teetotaler, शराब न पीने वाला व्यक्ति, the ability to communicate thoughts directly from one mind to another without speech or physical means. Telepathy, मन से मन की बातचीत, an instrument for viewing distant objects in space. Telescope, दूरबीन, a violent windstorm. Tempest, तूफान, lasting only for a very short while. Temporary, अस्थायी, holding on to something or keeping an opinion with determination. Tenacious, drear. Atal, a violent, overbearing, quarrelsome woman. Termagant, झगड़ालू स्त्री, a station at the end of a route. Terminus, अंतिम station, a written statement about someone's character, usually provided by an employer. Testimonial, प्रशंसा पत्र, one who believes in the existence of a god or gods. Theist, आस्तिक, government by religious leaders. Theocracy, धार्मिक नेताओं का शासन, one who studies God and religious beliefs. Theologian, धर्मशास्त्री, relating to the study of the nature of God and religious belief. Theological, धर्मशास्त्रीय, the study of the nature of God and religious beliefs. Theology, धर्मशास्त्र, धार्मिक विश्वास का अध्ययन, a delusion of being God or divinely chosen. Theomania, ईश्वर होने का भ्रम, relating to the healing of diseases. Therapeutic, चिकित्सा संबंधी, an instrument for measuring temperature. Thermometer, तापमापी, complete with regard to every detail. Thorough, संपूर्ण, busy. Main road for public use. Thoroughfare, सार्वजनिक मार्ग, showing a lack of courage or confidence. Timid, डरपोक, along. Angry speech of criticism or accusation. Tirade, गुस्से से भरा लंबा भाषण, existing only in name. Titular, नामात्र का, a young child just beginning to walk. Toddler, नन्हा बच्चा, a strong and fast moving stream of water. Torrent, पानी की तेज धारा, full of twists and turns. Tortuous, घुमावदार, a system of government in which only one political party is allowed to function. Totalitarianism, सर्वसत्तावाद, a natural object or symbol believed to have spiritual significance and adopted as an emblem by a clan or group. Totem, कुलचिन्ह, किसी कबीले का प्रतीक. Poisonous or harmful to health. Toxic, विषैला, one who works against his own country. Traitor, गद्दार, calm, peaceful, and free from disturbance. Tranquil, शांत, beyond or above the range of normal or physical human experience. Transcendent, अलौकिक, उत्कृष्ट स्तर से ऊपर. To make a written copy of spoken or recorded material. Transcribe, लिखित रूप देना, an apparatus for reducing or increasing the voltage of an alternating current. Transformer, विद्युत परिवर्तक, one who violates a law or command. Transgressor, उल्लंघन करने वाला, lasting for only a short time. Transient, क्षणिक, lasting for only a short time. Transitory, अस्थायी, थोड़े समय तक रहने वाला. To change in form, nature, or substance. Transmute, बदल देना, relating to speeds close to the speed of sound. Transonic, ध्वनि के समीप गति वाला, allowing light to pass through so that objects can be clearly seen. Transparent, पारदर्शी, to travel or move across or through a region. Traverse, पार जाना, a distorted representation of something. travesty, uphasaatmak rachna, the crime of betraying one's country, treason. Deshdroh, an involuntary shaking or quivering movement, tremor, kampan, shaking or quivering. Often because of fear or nervousness, tremulous, bhai se kaapta hua, a feeling of fear or anxiety about something unpleasant that may happen, trepidation, anhoni ki ashanka, to enter someone's land. Property without permission, trespass, anadhikrit pravesh karna, one who enters someone's land or property without permission, trespasser, anadhikrit pravesh karne wala, a stream flowing into a larger river. Tributary, sahayak nadi, happening every 3 years, triennial, आधा तर पे ए की मात्रा व पे आ की मात्रा आधा रश पे छोटी ई की मात्रा कर, a set of 3 related works by the same author, trilogy, 3 रचनाओं का set, a stand having 3 legs, tripod, तिपाई. 3 पैरों वाला, a group of 3 powerful people, triumvirate, 3 शक्तिशाली व्यक्तियों का गठबंधन, of little importance, value or significance, trivial, तुच्छ. मामूली, an object awarded as a prize for victory or success, trophy, विजय के प्रतीक के रूप में दी गई वस्तु, a group of performers, especially dancers or acrobats, troupe, mandali, the clothes, linen, and other belongings collected by a bride for her marriage, trousseau, dulhan ka dahej, vivah samagri. A student who absents himself from school without permission, truant, बिना अनुमति स्कूल से. अनुपस्थित छात्र, an agreement between enemies or opponents to stop fighting for a certain period, truce, युद्धविराम संधि. Defiantly aggressive, truculent, लड़ाकू, an obviously true or hackneyed statement, truism, सामान्य सत्य, the sound made by an elephant, trumpet, हाथी की आवाज. Chinghar, an extreme fear of clusters of small holes or bumps, trypophobia, छोटे छोटे छेदों का डर, an extremely large wave in the sea caused by an earthquake, tsunami, bhukamp, taranga, sudden and violent. Upheaval or disturbance, turbulence, uthal-puthal, one who switches to an opposing party, turncoat, dalbadalu, protection of or authority over someone, tutelage, sanrakshan, one of 2 children born at the same birth, twin, jurwa, a person who is extremely rich, tycoon, udyogpati, a cruel and oppressive ruler, tyrant, tanashah, one who is new to a profession or activity, tyro, nausicaa, in a manner fully agreed upon by all, unanimously, sarvsammati se, a mythological animal with 1 horn on its forehead, unicorn, एक सींग वाला घोड़े जैसा काल्पनिक पशु, not having knowledge or experience of a particular subject or activity, uninitiated, nausicaa, found all over the world, universal, sarvabhaumik, something never done or known before, unprecedented, abhutpurv, pehle kabhi na hua, having no moral principles, unscrupulous, unethic, not yet used or developed, untapped, अभी तक उपयोग न किया गया, difficult to handle or manage due to size or weight, unwieldy, संभालने में कठिन, to improve skills to match new demands, upskill, कौशल बढ़ाना, a rapid or sudden rise, upsurge, अचानक वृद्धि, the upward force that a fluid exerts on a body floating in it, upthrust, तरल में तैरते हुए शरीर पर. ऊपर की ओर का बल, a large vase that usually has a pedestal or feet, urn, कलश, a person who shows people to their seats, usher, प्रवेश कराने वाला, one who lends money at unreasonably high interest. Usurer, सूदखोर, the practice of lending money at unreasonably high interest. Usury, सूदखोरी, the quality of being useful. Utility, उपयोगिता, an imagined perfect society where everything is ideal. Utopia, आदर्श, काल्पनिक समाज, excessively fond of or submissive to one's wife. Uxorious, जोरू का गुलाम, to waver between different opinions or actions. Vacillate, निश्चय न कर पाना, one who wanders from place to place without a settled home. Vagabond, khanabadosh, a person who wanders from place to place without a home or job. Vagrant, beghar avara, having or showing an excessively high opinion of one's appearance, abilities, or worth. Vain, ahankari, a person who is unduly anxious about their health. Valetudinarian, बीमारी की अत्यधिक चिंता करने वाला, a low area of land between hills. Valley, घाटी, one who deliberately damages public property. Vandal, तोड़फोड़ करने वाला, the killing of a prophet. Vaticide, पैगंबर की हत्या, a person who does not eat or use any animal products. Vegan, पूर्ण शाकाहारी, one who does not eat meat. Vegetarian, shakahari, showing strong feeling. Vehement, ugra, the speed of something in a particular direction. Velocity, vague, a prolonged bitter quarrel with someone, especially involving murder in revenge. Vendetta, pratishodh, accorded great respect, especially because of age, wisdom, or character. Venerable, सम्मानित, to regard with great respect. Venerate, सम्मानित करना, seeking to harm someone in return for a perceived injury. Vengeful, बदला लेने की भावना से भरा हुआ, a sin or fault that is not serious and can be forgiven. Venial, क्षमा योग्य, one who speaks without moving the lips, creating the illusion that the voice comes from elsewhere. Ventriloquist, बिना होंठ हिलाए बोलने वाला व्यक्ति, a new project or business activity involving some risk. Venture, जोखिम भरा कार्य या व्यापार. Conformity to facts. Veracity, सच्चाई in exactly the same words as were used originally. Verbatim, शब्द प्रतिशब्द. Hubahu, the use of too many words or of more difficult words than are needed to express an idea. Verbiage, शब्दाडंबर, containing more words than necessary. Verbose, ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा शब्दों वाला थे. Quality of using more words than are needed. Verbosity, शब्द बाहुल्य, a decision made by a jury in a court. Verdict, फैसला, having many different skills. Versatile, बहुमुखी, अनेक कार्यों में निपुण. An animal with a spinal cord. Vertebrate, कशेरुकी जंतु, रीढ़ की हड्डी वाले जीव. The evening prayer service in a church. Vespers, गिरजाघर में सायंकाल की प्रार्थना, a trace of something that no longer exists. Vestige, अवशेष, बचा खुचा निशान, a person who is long experienced or practiced in an activity. Veteran, अनुभवी, a person qualified to treat diseases and injuries in animals. Veterinarian, पशु चिकित्सक, the area near or surrounding a particular place. Vicinity, आसपास, an evil or wicked character, especially in a story or play. Villain, खलनायक, to clear someone of blame or suspicion. Vindicate, निर्दोष ठहराना, having or showing a strong desire for revenge. Vindictive, आधा पर त पे छोटी ई की मात्रा, श पे ओ की मात्रा, ध पे बड़ी ई की मात्रा, something of high quality belonging to a past era. Vintage, उत्कृष्ट प्राचीन वस्तु, a morally good quality or behavior. Virtue, sadgun, a person who possesses outstanding technical ability in a particular art or field. Virtuoso, किसी कला में अत्यंत निपुण व्यक्ति, of a disease or poison, extremely severe or harmful in its effects. Virulent, विषैला, in relation to or in comparison with. Vis-a-vis, के संबंध में, की तुलना में, having or showing clear ideas about what should happen in the future. Visionary, दूरदर्शी, the cultivation of grapevines. Viticulture, अंगूर की खेती, having a lively, attractive personality. Vivacious, फुर्तीला, जोशपूर्ण, easily evaporated at normal temperatures. Volatile, वाष्पशील, the faculty or power of using one's will. Volition, इच्छा शक्ति, a simultaneous discharge or series of shots or missiles. Volley, बौछार, एक साथ प्रहार, of one's own free will. Voluntary, swaichhik, one who freely offers to do something, volunteer, swayamsevak, having a very eager appetite, especially for food or reading, voracious, atyadik lalsa wala, a long sea journey, voyage, samudri yatra, one who makes long journeys, especially by sea, voyager, yatri, exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally, vulnerable, asurakshit, a jocular person who is full of amusing anecdotes, wag, mazakiya vyakti, a homeless and helpless child, waif, lavaris, a raised passageway, in a building, walkway, paidal rasta, to walk or move in a leisurely or aimless way, wander, bhatakna, a person responsible for the supervision of a particular place or activity, warden, dekhrek karne wala adhikari, a place where clothes are kept, wardrobe, almari, a legal document authorizing the police to make an arrest or search premises, warrant, adhipatra, kanuni adesh, a list of passengers and luggage, waybill, yatri va saman ki सूची, feeling or showing extreme tiredness, weary, thaka hua, to take someone somewhere suddenly and quickly, whisk, furti se le jana, to speak in a very low tone, whisper, fusfusa kar bolna, to reduce something in size by carving or cutting, whittle, chilna. Tarashna, a woman whose husband is dead, widow, vidhva, a man whose wife is dead, widower, vidhur, done deliberately, knowing that it is wrong, willfully, janbujhkar, to become limp or drooping, of plants, wilt, murjhana, an unexpected piece of good fortune, windfall, apratyashit labh, to separate husk from the grain, winnow, fatikna, the practice of magic, witchery, jadu tona, great sorrow or distress, wo, shok, to dispute angrily, wrangle, krodh se jhagarna, a decorative ring of flowers and leaves, wreath, foolon ki mala, the remains of something that has been badly damaged, wreckage, malba, to move along with quick, short twisting movements, wriggle, chatpatana, an extreme fear of foreigners or strangers, xenophobia, videshi logon ka dar, a feeling of intense longing for something, yearning, lalak, a wooden object, used for connecting animals that are pulling a vehicle, yoke, बैलगाड़ी में बैलों को जोड़ने की लकड़ी, a person who is fanatical and uncompromising in pursuit of their religious, political, or other ideals, zealot, kattarpanthi, the highest point, zenith, shirsh bindu, a circular diagram representing the 12 astrological signs, zodiac, rashichakra, place where wild animals are kept for public display, study or conservation, zoo, chidiyaghar, a person who studies animals, zoologist, prani vigyani, the scientific study of the behavior, structure, physiology, classification, and distribution of animals, zoology, jantu vigyan.